Right, so we're kicking things right off with a breakdown of the Age 1000 trailer, aka Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. Uh-oh! Did someone, South Asia, I think it was Southeast Asia account, accidentally leak that? Bandai Namco may have made a big botch, and now fans are talking. More about that later in the analysis section, but as far as the breakdown goes, let's talk about this character right here. So this is the male Saiyajin character, Yanel Rodriguez. I'm sorry, I don't even know if it's displaying my screen. Thanks for joining the chat, appreciate it. Yeah, but as far as this goes, man, this character looks phenomenal. This is just classic Akira Toriyama. Toriyama, man, just a master character designer, and this exactly proves it. Love the details. At the beginning, I didn't know if it was a male or female character because of like the earrings and the way it was kind of designed. Toriyama always did like drawing females that had shorter hair and everything. I think he did an interview once saying that he really liked those, he liked females with short hair and everything and stuff like that. But yeah, it was definitely a male character confirmed in the Genki Dama Matsuri event. Akira Toriyama presents the legendary Akira Toriyama. I will always have respect for this. Oh my gosh, man. All right, so then yeah, we're gonna go look at the hands here, and then boom, you see that he's getting ready for gear. I love the belt, man. Look at the design. Look at him all right there, pumping up. It says GS, I think. So I'm not sure I know what that stands for. But I love how he's like just jumping up here. This is like Brock Lesnar. If y'all WWE fans out there, you know. You know, man, yeah, you got the Brock Lesnar thing going on there, jumping up, ready for action. Yeah, I love this character design, man. This is phenomenal. This is just, you just know Akira Toriyama character design from a mile away. A new game project, and I love how he's calmly walking, and the technology here. So I don't know if he has like a watch or something, whatever, it comes out there, and he has a display, as you can see right there, basically to look on like a hologram. The real talk, guys, I don't think this technology is too far off. I think we'll see this in our lifetime. We're probably going to have, you know, we got our smartphones and stuff now and everything, but I think we're going to eventually transition to where we have holograms and have the smart technology where our physical touch, it can, the hologram can register our physical touch, and this is probably how we're going to be watching videos and movies later on, you know, down the line. Technology is getting crazy. Look how quick AI has come, how far AI has come. So yeah, that's really good. And you know what's interesting about this that I really like seeing is, you guys ever watch things from like the 1950s, how they predicted here in 2026 we'd be having flying cars and time travel and stuff, and none of that technology is way off. And honestly, I don't think we'll ever get time travel. I just don't see how you could possibly ever take matter and turn it back into the past or force it into the future. But technology like this I think is really interesting because I don't know if y'all were, if you're 90s, my fellow 90 kids out there, you watch Kenan and Kel. There was an episode they did where they went into the future, and if you look at the episode, it just looks like fancier tech of all the technology we had in the 1990s. Like, no one was predicting the smartphones, no one was predicting AI, no one was predicting the internet, and then even this, and this applies to Dragon Ball, because look at the end of Dragon Ball Z, the very last half of the manga. If you look at the way the technology is, they're still using the big old phones to talk, they're still using the big old square, you know, TVs 4.3, and it's like, oh, okay, it makes sense, right? That was the limit of what type of technology we had in the real world. And then when you get to Dragon Ball Super, all of a sudden they're on smartphones and tablets, and it's like, whoa. But Dragon Ball Super takes place within the 10-year time skip. So how are we in this part where the technology looks one way, and then the technology raises even higher, and then the technology went right back down when we get to the last 10-year time skip? So it's like, man, I don't know, like that was hilarious. Well, I guess I know Toriyama was basically working with what we had, but you know, by the time you get to Dragon Ball Super, he had evolved enough, you know, he's seen the technology evolved enough to where it would probably be like this. So yeah, this is probably some realistic technology that we have and stuff like that. SMP in the chat says, hey son, is SMP 15 minutes from now time travel does exist? And spoilers, you're going to read this comment. You got me with that one, SMP. You got me one with that. Remember Pokemon when they had Skype? Oh, Skype. Man, that takes me back. Wow. Yeah, but that was something and everything. But yeah, I think this is the technology that we'll see in this game, Age 1000, aka probably Xenoverse 3. It's probably more accurate to what we'll have. I think the way we predict technology nowadays here in 2026 we'll see it a lot more active, where people years from now will be like, oh, we were spitting back then and stuff. But getting back to the action here, I love the technology and everything, and how he forms his own training. Like, is this how people are going to spar in the future? Sparring with with like holograms? Like, that just sounds like crazy, isn't it? But I love the technology, and he's got like his whole arena, and the guys right here are just forming up. That was just really cool stuff. And yeah, they were ready. I love the suits, the combats. Like, these were cool. Like I'm being real. Once again, shout out to Akira Toriyama if he designed these guys, because I'm like, for some henchmen, they look pretty cool, you know? You got your random generic henchmen number 1 and 2 sometimes, and these look like, okay, these are some really cool battle suits. And, you know, they're getting all ready on guard, and they're starting to chase and run. You know, in Dragon Ball, the first one usually who runs and chases, when you're chasing someone and that's your stance, is no guard, you're not going to throw your arms up, you're not going to try and protect yourself, chances are the people running, you're probably getting effed up. I've watched Dragon Ball long enough to know this. I love how they're running. No guard, no respect at all. And look at this. Now he puts in respect, and I love that shot. He's like, okay, he's on guard. And yeah, we're about to get ready for the action. And he runs towards you like, okay, I don't want a mother effer who I'm chasing him, and he's just standing here like this, and he's running after me like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay, this guy's probably gonna try and F some things up, right? And so I love the shot here. I love the design. The graphics in this really looked a lot like Dragon Ball Superhero to me. So I'm like, oh man, that's really awesome. So I love these action shots, and then boom, he's getting all ready for the elbow, you know, the one that put Raccoon down, and he's getting closer. Oh, look at that. Look how he's looking in his eyes. I like the guy's like, whoa. Because yeah, he didn't expect him to come up that so quick, and then boom, hit him with the Raccoon elbow. And then look at that, how he disperses in the digital age. That's like a digital hologram Thanos snap or something. And then boom, right here, I love how look at the speed right there into the hand, coming for an uppercut. Look at that smooth one. Boom, right in the gut. Oh, boom, sends him flying in the air. And then look at him fly. He's already on him. Oh, about to go ahead and do that big axe handle. Bam! Oh no, actually that's just the effect of his stomach. Boom! That's where he got it. Oh man, that was good stuff. Look at that. Look at the anger. Like you summon these guys. Like, dang, what did these holograms do to you? Like, like, oh man, did they steal you? Like how does a hologram steal you? Like, he is beating this hologram like he stole something. And then the hologram goes, this was so funny. He's like, oh man, if y'all played Dragon Ball Kakarot, there's a scene where Vegeta throws Super Buu, and that's exactly how Super Buu, he's got like he's got like these noodle arms and legs. That's pretty much what this guy is like, and he's getting sent. And I love this other one tried to come over him, and he gets down low to the ground. He's about to go ahead. He's got his arm back, but I think he's way open. Look how open he is. Boom! Look at that. Come on, bro. Come on. When that's the face of someone that's about to get attacked, it's not gonna end well for you, the one who's on the offense. And I love how the speed line comes. Look at this, being fancy. Love this twist and turn, and like when you've got time to do fancy stuff like this, you see the disrespect that you have for your opponent. Boom! Look at that foot. Bam! Love the action frame, and oh, they near decapitated his hand. Look at that. Look how that boy's head is almost about to go down to his spine. Oh man, kicked it like all the shine out his throat and stuff. I guess that's the closest thing we're gonna get to blood. And then right there, he drops down to the ground. So we got the white-haired Saiyajin. He looks, look at that. This guy is not impressed. And oh boy, he's about to unleash this ki blast. I love it. I love the build up to this ki blast. This is sick. This is one of the most awesome shots in the whole thing. Love the build up. Love the charge. We get the impact frame, and then he sends the blast. Boom! It's completely flash, and oh, look at that. You actually see in the flash the guy. You could pinpoint the moment. That's why I love doing these frame by frame breakdowns when I have the time to do them. You could see the point when he realized it was at this moment he effed up, and he did. Boom, and there he goes. Oh man, look at that. All out. He completely dispersed the whole hologram, and yeah, I don't know what them holograms did to him, but it couldn't have been good. And he puts his arm down, and then we get a foot stepping in there. And I told you guys, when I first saw it in the trailer, I could tell that looked like Dragon Ball GT Goku's foot right there. And I love how he turns around, and he's looking right there. Look at that face. He's like, huh? Now that's right there is called respect, ladies and gentlemen. This is when you know a jabroni has not entered the field. Hey, welcome to Earth, bro. Hey, thanks for joining the chat, L3 man. Man, like, this is fake. Like, look, he did not give that look to them generic hologram jabronis which he summoned and beat like they stole something. This face is okay. The person that just entered is being taken serious. We know this. And he smiles like, okay, this is going to be his challenge. And I love when the hair started moving. We go into the eyes, and boom, we start getting to this real world vortex, and we get the Emperor of the Universe, Frieza. And then we have Trunks, and then we have Perfect Cell, and then we have Kid Buu, and then we have Lord Beerus, and then we have Broly. Oh man, we got Gohan, Vegeta, and then of course you gotta know from the looks it's gonna be no one else with that with someone like that looking like that. It's got to be Son Goku, right? He turns around, and then we get a close up of his face. Right here, it's almost like it's Goku Black, because this is the type of stuff silhouettes they were doing with Goku Black. So that's what we got right here. And then we zoom into the face, like, oh, it's Son Goku. And I think this place takes place like 216 years after the end of the manga, aka the end of Dragon Ball Z. So why is Son Goku still here? I guess we're gonna have to find out and play the game. But look at Goku. My man Goku is ready for a fight. And then we zoom in out of the other eyes, and you see, okay, the white-haired Saiyajin, he's ready. And I love this. This was a sick Super Saiyajin transformation. The eyes glowing, man, and the hair moves. And then look at this guy. He's like, ah! Like he goes and say, ah! Like, okay, boy, you talk about going from 0 to 100 out of nowhere. And look at this guy, he's going readily into it. He's getting that golden glow, and I love the way they did the impact frames here. And he goes SS1, and look at that, the electricity, it's golden, and boom, look at the power. Oh man, this was so sick. And I was shocked because when he went SS1, I was not expecting this character at this point in the trailer to be a Super Saiyajin, and yet he is. I love it. Love the shot, dude. It looks so sick. No matter how much time passes, there is just nothing like seeing a Saiyajin warrior go Super Saiyajin. Man, look at that. And we got a new game project, Age 1000 2027. Oh my gosh, wow, phenomenal trailer. I wish I would have got the screenshot there where his eyes went blue and it was like a black impact frame, like he was turning into a demon. That was phenomenal, man. That's how you kick things off, and now that we know that this might be Xenoverse 3, phenomenal. I'll break down a little bit more, but we're gonna head into our next breakdown here for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. All right, let's see what we got here. So Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, let's go here. I love the way they did everything in the background here. SS1, Son Goku, Janemba. We got Omega Shenron, I think aka Xleen Shenron in the Japanese version. Yeah, man, these are just some really good, cool looking shots that they did here. I haven't even played as all these characters yet in Sparking Zero because yeah, I'll be continuing the Sparking Zero live streams as well. Currently planning for April 5th, which was actually not just Easter, but Akira Toriyama's birthday. Yeah, man, this is really cool. I can't wait to experience some of this stuff I have, but I can't wait to experience all of it in Sparking Zero. So we started off with Goku going SS Blue here, and I love it. It's totally based off of Dragon Ball Super Broly. So yeah, these are looking really good. These are just some beautiful looking games, man. Look at that. Look at that. Goku is out for vengeance. Love that shot. Oh man, this is awesome. I was so shocked in here seeing that. I'm like, oh, okay. So they already got the blue hair aired. They already got the voice acting done for the dub, because I was expecting we were probably just going to go ahead and get Japanese and everything like that and the dub. So that was really awesome. Seeing Goku SS Blue, it just looks phenomenal. I would say I've played a lot as SS Blue Goku from the story mode, and it's phenomenal. I love they have the whole new thing right there, new DLC, exactly what we wanted and everything. Some people think this game is dead, but it still has a high player base and everything. So looks like what's clearly dynamic, but I believe it's supposed to be the Ice Age area that Goku and Vegeta fought Broly in, where it was like lava everywhere, but I guess, you know, they're not adding that stage. So this was really cool because Goku comes and flies, and that shot just looks awesome, man. Like, man, these games have come so far since the first Tenkaichi slash Sparking game on PS2. And so we see him flying over here. So Goku and Vegeta, that's Vegeta's battle damage from Dragon Ball Super Broly. So yeah, just phenomenal. I really love this right here. And when we see them, we got here, boom, right in the right doing, like, I think they did like a double headbutt. Like, this is the actual, yeah, the punch and the kick combination they did to Broly. This is in the actual movie. So boom, right there. Oh, Sin and Broly flying. So I'm really loving this shot right here. And then they're flying towards there, and boom. Like, this is going to be fun to pull off in this game, man. So you got Goku and Broly right there. Bam. They're pinballing up. What was it? Ping pong. Yeah, I can't. Hard, easy for me to say. Ping ball. Is it ping ball and everything balling? Yeah, ping balling. I'm off tonight. Ping ball or whatever you call it. Broly back and forth like a ping ball, right? Boom. Vegeta sending him over to Goku, and then bam, right there in the back against Broly. Love the action frame. Goku and Vegeta working in sync. New characters, so that was really awesome. And then we get our first look at Bardock. So obviously we know he could do that. Now this is what shocked me when we saw the golden glow. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I'm like, oh snap, we got Super Saiyan, aka Super Saiyan, Super Saiyajin, whatever you want to say it, Broly. Just making sure I say it in all the ways so everybody knows I know how to say it in all different ways. Did I say Broly? Oh my gosh, Bardock. Let's try that back again. Rewind. Super Saiyan, Super Saiyajin, Super Saiyan, so that you guys know all the ways that I know how to say that. Bardock. And this was cool, so I did not expect this, and this was awesome. The way he flies, love the animation. He's got the whole spinning thing that we saw the white-haired Saiyajin do back in Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball Age 1000, which might be Xenoverse 3. So I'm loving this. And then watch this elbow, boom, right to Frieza. Oh man, look at that. And then I love right here, it's like Frieza's trying to catch him with his foot, and then I think Bardock grabs him by the leg, and I love the swing. Around and around we go, and look at Frieza. I love the close-up of Bardock's face, like he's got the murder in the eyes, and then boom, right there he's got Frieza and tosses him. There is an attack on the game, I think with Trunks when or Gohan's one of them, they're spinning around like this, and you see the close-up of the face of them in agony before they get tossed. I love it. So sends Frieza flying in the sky, and then Bardock, you know, he does that cool blast that he tried to take out Frieza with, and I love the murderous look in his eyes, and he shoots the ki blast right at Frieza. So it looks like Frieza stops and is about to nail him, and boom, look at that. That is what it looks like when death hits the eyes there. So that was cool. This was a great moment. Seeing Piccolo Daimao, aka King Piccolo, looking awesome. I think this is like the demon wave, I think it is the technique. That was awesome to see. I was super stoked to see this. And those of you who have played Tenkaichi 3 / Dragon Ball Sparking Meteor, I think it was, he was an OG classic. In fact, if you played Tenkaichi 2, the POW version, he was on there. Us in America, we didn't get it. In fact, speaking of Tenkaichi, this shirt I wear is actually the cover art for Tenkaichi 1, if you guys remember. So yeah, that was something here. So this was awesome to see. Love the effects. Like, a real talk, because they were not doing animation like this in the OG Dragon Ball in the late 80s. This right here, man, they're making Piccolo Daimao, and there's a lot of attacks in this game that look so much cooler. Like, that is sick. Like, Piccolo Daima's attacks was not looking that sick, and I love it. Basically how he is determined. Look at that, man. They got the OG Dragon Ball design, classic. Love it, absolutely love it, man. And then he sends it right there, boom, sends it out. Piccolo Daimao, man, I love it, and I gotta be honest with you guys. For those who want to know why we're so excited, if you watch OG Dragon Ball, gotta be honest. If you watch OG Dragon Ball, Piccolo Daimao, man, he was the stuff. He is kind of like, I would say, especially with the next person I'm going to be talking about, or upcoming person I'm going to be talking about for Dragon Ball. He is like, I would say, the granddaddy father of the Dragon Ball super villain, like, you know, that otherworldly being that's not human, and wants to terrorize the world. Like, this started before we had Frieza, before we had Cell, before we had Majin Buu. We had Piccolo Daimao. He was one of the characters in one of the arcs. I think he was yeah, he was probably 1 or 2, the second, maybe just right. Yeah, it was right behind the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai. I really wanted to see Piccolo Daimao arc. I was so happy when they released the King Piccolo arc, and they actually released it in America before some of the other Dragon Ball arcs that came before it. So, man, that was some real cool stuff. Just seeing King Piccolo's father, understanding his origin. Yeah, like it paved the way, and this was like the darker tone where Toriyama. It was this character that Toriyama started taking the series in a more darker tone and would lead us to a lot of the beloved villains of Dragon Ball Z. So if anyone out there, if you haven't watched OG Dragon Ball, I think watching Piccolo Daimao will give you a much more appreciation, much more respect for Dragon Ball for where we're headed, for where the Dragon Ball Z villains are headed, especially with Dragon Ball Super, because the Moro arc, it's from this character right here, the Moro arc. Toyotaro, I'm pretty sure, specifically took a certain trait of the Moro arc and took it from this arc right here, from Piccolo Daimao. So yeah, appreciation. You'll have a great appreciation for the Moro arc too if you even go back and watch this arc. So that was really cool. And then we get to the part, you know, a lot of people like to say Dragon Ball GT is trash. Well, you know what? I thought Dragon Ball GT, like I've always said, it wasn't the best. I don't put it over Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, and to a lesser degree, I don't put it over Dragon Ball Super. But Dragon Ball GT on its own, I enjoy. I thought it had its moments, and this right here was certainly one of its moments. So we got Junagano, Lapis, Android 17, Sideboard number 17 with the glowing red eyes. And when I saw that other 17, I knew it. I was like, yes, we are on. Here, let's go. But what was cool is that we only would get this character they're about to fuse in. I'm like, we can actually fuse as the 17s in the game? I'm like, let's go. I don't think that's ever been done in the Sparking games. And then we get the cool action frame, and there we are, Super 17, man. The belt buckle, the awesome, like, I love his design. Like people can say what they want to about Dragon Ball GT, but hey, man, if there's something to praise for it, the character designs were awesome. Like the character designs themselves, and I actually talked more about this in a video that hopefully we'll see upcoming podcast that I did with shout out to Steggy Stardust, because she's one the fans who haven't seen Dragon Ball GT, but she said the characters look so cool though. And in that podcast coming up, I mentioned, like, yeah, these character designs, the character designs were so significant to Dragon Ball GT. Even if you were like me as a kid and you heard all the bad stuff about it, you saw those character designs, you're like, I gotta see this. Like, holy crap, Super 17? There's a new 17? And look at that, taller, buffer, like, this looks like a huge upgrade to 17's character. Like, we gotta see this. I always love this character design of Super 17. It kind of always reminded me, and if you guys are followers of Yu Yu Hakusho, there was a character, Sensui Shinobu, and they got these same characters, very tall, lean, muscular characters, got these extremely long legs. It kind of reminded me of that design, and man, it is awesome. That design was awesome. His design is awesome. Super 17, my gosh, what an awesome, character-wise, he's awesome. Dude, I love it. They got it. Was it like the Eclipse Bomb? I think is what the technique is called. Super Hellfighter 17. I love it. The way it had the black orb and the red electricity over it, and just look how devious he looked. I love Super 17, man. He's definitely a blast in Dragon Ball GT. Like, this character is so cool, dude. Even this technique is cool, but he has one where he takes his arm out and it turns into a gun, and it's like an upgrade to what Android 16 could do, and he just goes like dude, I used to love doing that technique in the old Tenkaichi game, so I can't wait to see that. And this is just awesome. Boom, sending it right there. So yeah, I am super glad to see Super 17. He's been one of the most requested characters. He's a Tenkaichi OG. Like, he wasn't one that came in 2 or 3. He was in the original Tenkaichi game, and he was one of the big selling points to that game. Is like, you're gonna get so many characters. You're gonna get the GT characters, Super 17. Like, that was awesome. So it was really good to see Super 17 going into there, and then we get more customs and super attacks. Let me take a quick water break here. So new costumes and super attacks. So we're getting more look at Goku and Vegeta basically flying off back to back. And I was like, oh, this is the technique they did in Dragon Ball Super, the Galick Gun and the Kamehameha. I said it back in my Dragon Ball Super review of Dragon Ball Super Broly. I'm still saying it now. They made the Galick Gun yellow. And this is where things just get so confusing. So for those of you who don't know, in the manga, Goku and Vegeta's Galick Gun and Kamehameha are both yellow. But in the anime, Goku's Kamehameha was changed to blue, and Vegeta's Galick Gun was changed to purple. But I guess to stay true to Toriyama's original colors, they kept the you want to say Final Flash, but they kept the Galick Gun here yellow. And then I love the camera turnaround, and then Goku's Kamehameha was cut blue. So they wanted to stay true to the anime. But then they wanted to stay true to the manga colors, and it's like, which ways are we going at it? Why, after years of animating the Galick Gun purple, do we want to finally go back to the original manga character colors? Okay, if we're going to honor the manga, then we might as well do the same thing for Goku. But oh, no. We want to honor the blue that has the anime and went different than what the manga. So this scene always is just funny because they just, for whatever reason, they didn't want to... They kind of wanted to honor the manga. Yeah, they kind of wanted to honor the manga, but then they wanted to honor the anime here as well too. So I'm like, pick your lane, guys. Pick your lane. This is the type of stuff that causes so much confusion in the fandom. It's crazy, but overall, still, it's an awesome technique and everything. I think if he would have said something like Super Galick Gun, people would have probably automatically thought like, oh, okay, the super version is a different color. But no, that's not the way it is. But still, I'm glad we're getting this in the actual game as a team up attack. So if you, I'm guessing how they're doing this now is if you put 2 characters on the same team, you get to choose your ultimate, tag team ultimate. So I'm looking forward to seeing what other special techniques we got in there and stuff like that. And I was real happy to see this. We got Gohan, Bojack Gohan with the outfit SS2, the way they do the zoom in on the eyes, awesome stuff. And he ends up doing the Kamehameha. Love the impact frame. And what's really cool, so when this Kamehameha hits, you see Gohan, he just flies right out of there. Loving it how he flies right out of there. Out of the smoke and everything. You talk about who wants to smoke. Hey, Gohan's gonna bring the smoke apparently. And so I was not expecting them to put this in the game where he ends up flying right towards it. Loving the shots here, man. Right through Bojack. And of course they do that whole black and white contrast thing so that we don't get to see the blood and everything, which I don't even think they had that in the actual movie and everything. It's been a while since I've watched what was that movie? It had a really ridiculously long name, Dragon Ball Z movie. That was what was that? That was the 9th movie. Wasn't it like some superly ridiculous, awesome, strong guy? In fact, let me see right quick. Let me look at it, Google it right quick. Dragon Ball Z movie 9 Japanese title. I'm thinking my memory's not too far off. It was ridiculously long, like something like the super awesomely strong guy. So what did that? Let's see. The literal translation is the galaxy at the brink, the super incredible guy. Alternatives are the galaxy is in danger, the super awesome guy. Yeah, okay, I was right. Yeah, the super awesome guy, man. The names they used to give these, man, was just quite something. The superly awesome, ridiculously strong guy. Like, it's crazy how far we're coming, because we're gonna be talking about Dragon Ball Super Beerus later, and like, how far have they come? Now they're just saying Dragon Ball Super Beerus, keep it short. But back then they used to be like, it's the incredible power of the superly awesome, ridiculously super ultimate supreme strong guy to take on the super supreme ultimate super Saiyan. If Son Goku can't do it, then no one can. Maybe Vegeta, maybe Gohan, but if they can, definitely Goku can do it. And if he can't, maybe about after 2-3 tries he can. Dragon Ball movie 15. There's no Dragon Ball Z movie 15 or anything like that, but like, that's exactly how they used to put those titles back in the day and everything. But yeah, getting back to the action here, I love it that we get this in the game. I'm gonna look forward to, like, it's gonna be funny seeing Gohan do this to much smaller characters than he is. Like, at that point, shouldn't they just blow up and explode and stuff like that? But yeah, I love it. We actually get to see it. This stuff looks so funny. Couldn't they put like a glow around the back or something? I just think it looks so hilarious when they go through these characters and there's nothing. Like, what did he do exactly? He went through them, but I see no damage. Like, I understand if they don't want to show the blood holes or whatever, but at least show like a glow effect to indicate where he came out of. Like, Gohan went through him and that's just it. Like, how did it hurt him? That stuff be looking so ridiculous when they do it. And then I love the explosion where he glows and everything, and then right there you see the explosion and boom. I think, yeah, bomb, right there you go, the impact frame. Yeah, that's what I think. If it's a smaller character, Gohan should just annihilate them right now. Oh, I'm really hoping this technique, by the way, works on giants. Just imagine seeing little old Gohan go through a big giant like Hirudegan or Golden Ozaru baby Vegeta. Man, that would be awesome. SMP in the chat says, because he's the last dragon, Bruce Leroy 80s. Yeah, pop me with that one, SMP. Love that movie. Oh man, gosh, take him back. Oh boy, another movie that's part of my childhood. I wasn't even born in the 80s, but yeah, that movie played a lot in my household. So then we get new right here, and so we got Goku flying on the was it the Keaton? Is it the Keaton or something like that? I think, aka the Nimbus Cloud, and we got him doing the Kamehameha here on Roshi's Island. So it's a new stage. I'm glad to see it. We can finally fight on Roshi's Island, but once again, this is a stage that I think was on Tenkaichi 2's PAL version, and then it's a stage that was on Tenkaichi 3, and they even had it in the story mode, and I was like, okay, why are we not fighting on Roshi's Island? So I wonder when they update this, does this mean if I were to go back and play the first battle with Raditz in Son Goku story mode, that we'll get to fight right here on the island? So yeah, it just feels more like this is a legacy DLC and everything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this. Now this right here is interesting. New stages. Look at that right there. And it said no new mode. So what we got right here, this was probably one of the most talked about interesting shots, because one of the biggest complaints about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and a lot of those of you out there who've been playing it far longer than me, you know, I just started finally really playing it somewhat on a regular basis back in October 2025, 1 year later, because I was so busy as a content creator. But the lack of modes is one of the things that I've been hearing a lot about. So we got Son Goku here. Basically, looks like you can do a free roam, because that is definitely a different camera shot. Usually they have it far enough so you can see the whole body, but this right here, you know, we're like really close up, you know, and everything. So we're seeing Roshi, Cell, Vegeta, another arena it looks like you can go to, two other stages. One's a question mark, the other one has the explanation mark. So a free roam, is this going to be a new addition to the story mode? Are they enhancing story mode? Are we getting something cool? Like, this seems fun, and I hope it has some really cool cutscenes to it, because I definitely like playing the story aspect of this game. So I'm very curious to see what this is going to be when they announce it at Battle Hour and things of that nature. So I'm glad we're getting a new mode here. They had the limit breaking. Yes, sir. Woo! Oh, you guys are right. I am, as they call it in pro wrestling, marking out over OG Dragon Ball characters. I could tell right away. That is Devilman right there. And I didn't catch this when I first watched the trailer. So we got Devilman going against Goku Black. Once again, like I've been saying about OG Dragon Ball characters, you know, Dragon Ball was a lot about magic and different hacks, and you had to really strategize kind of to defeat your opponent, versus Dragon Ball Z, there was still strategy involved, but a lot of it came down to who is more stronger, who's more powerful. Think of a guy like Frieza, who we find out in Dragon Ball Super basically never trained, yet he was able to take Son Goku to the limit, forcing him to go SS1, and that's only because of pure power. But when it comes to martial arts ability, absolutely Goku's trained far more. He's a far more better martial arts expert than Frieza ever was. But you get characters like Devilman, because what Devilman actually has, he takes the existing pure evil in your heart and has his power called, I think, the Devil Might Beam, and he shoots it towards you, and you utilize that. I think in Japanese he's Akuman, because Aku means like demon in Japanese and stuff. But yeah, Devilman here, what was really cool is he uses it against Son Goku, who's of course pure of heart. And so, because there's no evil in Goku's heart, it doesn't work. Similar to how the crazy wizard Bobbity, he can control your mind and turn you into a Majin as long as you have some sort of trace of evil in your heart. So yeah, that's exactly. And Devilman has the same thing. So this frame right here is a interesting question. Like, what happens if Devilman, say, went up against a truly evil being in Dragon Ball? Obviously, Goku Black would easily kill him, but what if he hit Goku Black with that Devil Might Beam? Like Goku Black just thought, it's not gonna do, you know, he's like, it's not gonna do anything to me, and then he gets hit with it. But Goku Black is one of the most evil mother effers on the planet when it comes to in the multiverse, when it comes to Dragon Ball, you know, when it comes to Dragon Ball. I mean, just look what Zamasu he did as Zamasu. Yeah, when it comes to that, I'm like, I kind of wonder how would Devilman fare against some of the Dragon Ball characters later on. And one of the really coolest Easter eggs back in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, aka Sparking Meteor, is if you use Devilman's Devil Might Beam against a lot of the villains in the game, it would almost sometimes be instant KO or take off a ridiculous amount of health. And it was in some cases you could one-shot them. Now, when you put them up against characters who are pure of heart, like Gohan or Kid Chi-Chi or Goku, it did nothing. 0 damage. It was one of the most powerful techniques in the game against villains, and the weakest technique against those who were pure of heart. And here's another nice detail that I love. If you were playing as base form Goku, the Devil Might Beam does 0 damage. But as he went SS1, it did a little bit of damage. When he went SS2, it did even more damage. And when you got to Goku's strongest form, SS3, SS4, it did a lot more damage. And I love that, because it's like as Goku gets Super Saiyajin and gets into the SSJ rage of it all, it basically ended up, as he went further up in SSJ powers, like more of the Saiyajin instincts are taking over, and there's more rage within the heart and everything, because that's what Son Goku said. You know, hey, I know there are people out there to love the old classic dub, you know, Elina, good nightmare to you, in the original Japanese version, and it's corrected in the Kai dub. Goku says he is a Super Saiyan whose heart has been filled with rage and everything. Yeah, he's to awaken the legendary Super Saiyan. I'm paraphrasing there, but he says something along like that. And I love that Sparking Zero, Spike, the developers, they put that classic detail into this. So it's really cool to see Devilman, Akuman, however you say his name, in the game, and I'm hoping they keep that detail. So that was really cool. And if you used it against characters like, say, Yamcha, Krillin, aka Krudin, yeah, he actually would not do as much damage, but do a little bit of damage, because if you remember, is it the Kitan Un? Man, I didn't put this in my notes. Let me see. Nimbus Cloud, Japanese name. Let me look it up here. what was the Japanese? Yeah, the Kiton Un. Yeah, Kiton Un, aka the Nimbus Cloud. Yeah, when you put that in the game, basically, when he got on top of that, I think it was when Krillin got on that, he fell right through. But when Chi-Chi got on there, she was pure of heart and stayed just like Goku and stuff. So yeah, I love those little details they put in this game. So I'm glad to see Devilman making his comeback. And I can't wait to see how much damage this would do against someone as evil as Goku Black. So there we got Muten Roshi, aka Master Roshi, and yes, we got Grandpa Gohan in the game, another OG classic from Tenkaichi 3. I forgot if he was in Tenkaichi 2, but Tenkaichi 3, he was definitely in there, so I'm glad to see we're gonna have Grandpa Gohan back. Yeah, just a lot of OG Dragon Ball characters. That was what was fun. You got is that Tenkaichi games used to not forget about OG Dragon Ball. We got Champa in there with Beerus, so it's good. I would love to if we could play as all the gods in the game, and I think we might see that. So I'm going to be very interested to see what Champa can do. I wonder if we're going to get Vados in there because yeah, Vados is like the strongest female right now that I think we know of in Dragon Ball, because she's Whis' sister, and Whis is stronger. The angels are stronger than the gods, and so yeah, she's even, I think, stronger than Whis, which was stated. So yeah, I would definitely love to play as Vados in the game. Yes sir, woo! Tao Pai Pai, aka Mercenary Tao. Love it seeing him and Kid Goku battle it out and everything, man. Now if Piccolo Daimao was if Piccolo Daimao basically was like the godfather of the supervillain, this is the godfather of just the bad A double dollar S sign villain, basically. Like, man, Tao Pai Pai, once again, if y'all have not watched OG Dragon Ball, you have got to watch this, because Tao Pai Pai, man, the mercenary, he is awesome, dude. It just, when your introduction goes like this, I think this was his introduction, because I know he kills what's his name, General Blue with his tongue, and General Blue was a tough opponent for Goku and Krillin to overcome, and General Blue just took out his tongue, and then General Blue right to the temple, he's like and then he fell out. So yeah, man, that shows you how formidable he was for his time in OG Dragon Ball. But if y'all ain't seen it, man, let me explain, let me break this down here. Let me get some water too for this. So there's one of his introductions in OG Dragon Ball is there's a guy that tries to sneak up on him and assassinate him with a gun. Guy pulls out the gun, boom, and you see General Tao, he's got his hands behind his back and he just widens his eye and he's like, and then they slow down the motion so that we can understand the magnitude and the speed at which Tao Pai Pai moves. This is ridiculous. It's absurd on so many levels, but it really put Tao Pai Pai over as that dude. He was him for his time in OG Dragon Ball. So the bullet like makes it about halfway to Tao Pai Pai's here. The bullet makes it about halfway. And what happens is Tao Pai Pai, he takes his slipper. He has a slipper on and he basically shoots the slipper up into the air. So the slipper starts rotating in the air, goes past his face, and it rolls over his head and it rolls behind him, and then it hits the bullet. The bullet hits the slipper. Now check this out. It's a bullet versus a slipper. You guys clearly know where that bullet, what's gonna win. That bullet is going through that slipper. But when you have such speed and velocity that this man was able to chuck that slipper off to hit the bullet, it hits the bullet so hard that the bullet ricochets. The bullet ricochets and doesn't just goes flying anywhere. No. The bullet turns back around and ricochets at pinpoint accuracy, pinpoint precision, right back to the guy that shot the gun at him, and the bullet flies back and boom, hits the guy in the skull, I think it did, and he's dead. He's done. He's gone. And what about that slipper? Well, the slipper, it ricochets back as well, but it ricochets over Tao Pai Pai's head, down his face, and then it goes and perfectly he puts his foot, because he's actually walking, so he literally makes the next step. He doesn't even just like put his foot out there to catch it. He just happens to be walking with his foot, and the foot that goes off the ground, the slipper perfectly lands back onto his foot, and then they go back to regular motion, and Tao Pai Pai, with his hands still behind his back, never even looking, he just keeps walking calmly while the guy is dead. What the That is absolutely absurd. If it sounds absurd, look at the scene, look it up. Man, that's how Tao Pai Pai dealt with people that try to sneak up on him and assassinate him. Incredible. That's what you do. This dude was for real, man. It's a shame they didn't release that in America as soon as they could have and everything, but I understand why OG Dragon Ball wasn't a success, because they, in the beginning stages, because of how they had to edit it down and stuff, and understandably, those first 13 episodes of OG Dragon Ball were wild. But one of the things about Tao Pai Pai, like, that's not even, using your slipper to ricochet bullets and kill assassins with their own bullets, putting your tongue on people's temples and killing them. That's not even the most absurd thing else as far as what Tao Pai Pai could do. This man, he literally would do one chop to a pillar here, one chop to the pillar at the top, take the thing out and chuck that thing like 800 feet in the air, or even further above of the clouds. And the man, while still with his hands behind his back, he would jump up 800 to 1,000 feet, however many ridiculous feet in the air above the clouds. He would then land on top of that pillar and just standing straight up, and the man literally could travel across the world, miles. I don't know how many minutes or hours he was traveling at incredible speeds that were quicker, maybe even quicker than the airplanes. And he's just standing there, and he somehow knew how to use just enough force to keep it going for a long time, and then start to slow down when he needed it to he reach his destination. Absurd stuff, man. The late great Akira Toriyama, man, that's the type of humor he was so good at. Just ridiculous feats of strength, man. Like, this guy literally was the God bless his soul as well. Chuck Norris passed away and everything too. Another icon and legend, who did a lot for martial arts and the action movie series and stuff and everything. Walks Texas Ranger. I never followed Chuck Norris' career that heavily, but I did know of him and obviously the matches he had with Bruce Lee. But the thing is, Chuck Norris, he had those ridiculous memes. One of my favorites was that Chuck Norris, I think something along the lines, he doesn't do push-ups. He simply pushes the earth beneath him further down. this man right here, he was the walking Chuck Norris of Dragon Ball. This man doesn't get flights to travel. He simply takes pillars and chucks them in the air and flies on them. This man doesn't raise arms to defeat you. He simply just needs one lick at your skull and you're done. This man doesn't have to worry about being assassinated. He lets his slipper do the talking for him. just ridiculous. Oh my, so I'm glad Tao Pai Pai's in the game, and if they do stuff like that, with Tao Pai Pai in OG Dragon Ball, man, I am going to be super stoked. If they give a technique like that where he punches somebody and he walks away thinking they're beaten, and they try to attack a ki blast and he uses his slipper to repel the ki blast, like, just imagine Goku doing a spirit bomb, a Genki Dama, and he slips it, and the Genki Dama gets thrown back. Like, I would love that. That would be absolute hilarious. Oh my gosh, man. Yeah. And then we got Zangya from is it Zangya or Zangya from the Bojack Unbound movie, going up against Krillin, aka Krillin here. So I love that we got her in there. Oh man, you know what I'm gonna do? Y'all that played Tenkaichi 2, y'all would know this. Oh man, the first match I'm gonna probably do on live stream is I'm going to put her against Lazui, aka Juhachiko, aka Android 18, because there is a line in that game you were like, oh, did they go there? there. So in Tenkaichi 2, if you actually take Zangya and put her against 18, her line is, your man's kind of cute. And then from there, she puts her hair back, she goes like, skank. And we're like, oh, did they just put that in a video game? Even if it is rated T for teen, like, oh, they went there. There were so many people who, you go on the internet, search back then in like 2000, that 2006 period, people were going wild over that, like, holy crap. And then when we put it in Tenkaichi 3, where she, once again, she says the whole thing, she says, your man's kind of cute. And then 18 goes like, no, 18 doesn't say anything. She just has her regular generic voice opening voice line that she says anytime you put her against someone that she had no connection with. And I remember all of us were like, oh, it's just like they did the same thing in Tenkaichi 1 with Jace. When you would fight Jace, he'd be like, shut up, you wanka. And then in Tenkaichi 2, he'd be like, shut up, you what? And that's exactly how it would cut off. It didn't just like record the line where he goes like, shut up. No, he would literally, shut up, yo. And it's like they just did a hard cut. Like, and you guys who do audio editing would know this. It's like someone like, it was very difficult between the frames of the audio. So it's like, okay, we either cut the first part of the syllable out, or we cut the next part out and it's gonna cut off the next part of the word. So we have to do that. And I was like, oh, they took those lines out, man. The mid 2000s, they didn't care. Some of them lines were wild AF back then. So I'm hoping they bring this back, because now they realize we're a lot more mature. They realize a lot more people, adults are playing these games, and a lot more than the kids and teens that are playing these games are a lot more smarter than you might want to give them credit for. So, at least compared to what it was back then. So, now they're saying Mr. Satan and everything, and they're cursing in these games. So yeah, bring those classic lines back. I can't wait to see what they come up with. But yeah, I'm glad Zanya's in the game. Love having more females in the game. She was one of the few females that got into the game outside of 18 and Videl. So yeah, excuse me. Yeah, so I'm really glad to see her coming back here and everything. So that's really awesome. One of the things though that that I always found funny about Zangya, I used to wonder this: did she make it into these games because she's a female, or no? Or I should put it like this, and then that. Did she make it into the game because they figured out of all of Bojack's henchmen, we need to put her in the game? Or is she in the game simply because she's a female and they wanted to make sure they had more female characters? Like I said, I'm not complaining, but if you watch movie 9, I don't remember one thing she did of substance. She beat up Krillin, was attracted to her, and she basically knocked out Krillin with that kick, and that was it. And yeah, like you had a guy, I don't remember the names, correct me if I'm wrong, I think his name was like Gokua or something like that, and he had a sword, and he fought Trunks in the movie, but Trunks didn't have his sword, and I think Trunks or someone kills him, and then later in the movie, Vegeta comes with the sword. I'm like, y'all missed on a great opportunity. How you gonna have two characters who are sword specialists fighting? We could have got our very first ever Dragon Ball Z sword battle. That would have been awesome, but we didn't. However, Tite Kuba would eventually have our back on that with Bleach, and we got to see what Dragon Ball fighting style with swords was like. But man, that was a huge missed opportunity in that movie. And then I think, was it Bujin, Beto, and stuff, and I think they had the cool techniques. They had a lot of great synchronized attacks where they would basically be using they would trap you with their own like key webs and stuff. But yeah, I don't remember what the heck Zangya did. And in fact, Zangya got one of the most bogus deaths in the movie when Bojack basically starts laughing like, ho, 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 you think you've honestly won? He basically takes his key blast and pushes Zangya in the front and blasts her, and you literally see her face comes towards the camera and it completely disperses and blows up, and we're like, oh snap. And like, he did not give a crap about her. Like they just that's how she ended up dying. But yeah, she didn't do much in the movie. Awesome character design, I love it. But yeah, like wow, okay, I would actually love to I would love it if they bring all of Bojack's men in the game. So hopefully they get announced. Cause yeah, I think Bujin and Beto, they had some really cool synchronized attacks that I think would be cool. So yeah, I would love to see them more factions and teams in the game. But yeah, we'll see what goes on there. But happy to see Zanya's back. Hopefully all of Bojack's men ends up making it into the game. Yes, sir. Paikuhan, aka Pikkon in the dub. Man, glad to see him. He's been in the game since Tenkaichi 2, I think 3. For some reason, I don't remember if you could take his weighted armor off. I think he always fights like that. And everything. But the fact that they're using the actual Tenkaichi Budokai stage and not the Afterlife Budokai stage tells me they're not going to have that in the game. Would have loved to have seen that, but yeah, it's cool. We got Pikkon and SonGoshuaku. This was an awesome filler fight. Like, that's one of the cool things about Dragon Ball Z filler is I felt that some of them didn't feel like a waste of time to watch, but then, you know, at the time I wasn't reading the manga, so who knows. But yeah, Pikkon, I think the fact that these characters, these filler and movie characters find their way into these games shows how popular they are. So yeah, this is cool. Yeah, overall though, with that in there, that was really cool to see. I love this fight, so I'm glad to see Pikkon and Goku. I think we got the Kaioken SS1. I'm not sure how that would have obviously worked for Goku's body, but in filler, I guess whatever the heck. He had one of the coolest introductions against Cell and everything. I still clown on that dub, the dub version of it. I gotta watch this in Japanese. I haven't seen the Japanese version of it, but man, I remember when Pikkon shows up and Frieza's like, how could he have improved so much? And then Cell's like, don't you worry. He said, don't you worry. Remember, he says, don't you worry. Oh yeah, he's like, don't you worry, I'm the one that killed him, remember? And he goes like, well, after you, my friend, Frieza goes, and Cell goes like, you're too kind, and he flies right after Pikkon, and then the flame goes over and kicks Cell right in the face, and Goku's like, what the? And I remember Frieza's like, who's that? And King Cole's like, I do say. And Pikkon smacks Cell, he smacks Cell into the blood pool and teleports behind him and just looking all like this, basically total aura farming. And they're basically looking up, and Frieza's looking back to the side, and he's like, he gets like chopped in the face with like back fist in the face, and like his eyes go into black of his head. He's like, and Frieza's out, and then King Cole gets elbowed in the gut by Pikkon, boom, and King Cole, the way, I forget the voice actor's name because I don't got the notes here, but the way he sold that action, as they say in pro wrestling selling, the way he grabbed his stomach and the way he did the voice, like, oh, 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 oh. And then, you know, when Pikkon flew up above the blood pool, and he started doing that tornado attack that sent everybody into the sharp spikes pointing out, because you had the Ginyu Force outside of Captain Ginyu, of course, and you had Cell. That was crazy. And Cell, he's like, oh, he was terrified, and they got locked up in prison. I'm not sure how all that works out in hell and everything. I love that Cell didn't have a bandage on his stomach, but the Ginyu Force did, so I thought that was cool. Yeah, it was a really cool filler. Now, when you look back on it, that filler made no sense at all, because yet Goku at SS1, Pikkon had this fight struggle a lot harder, and it was so confusing. I figured out, like, okay, so is Pikkon like SS2 Gohan level? The power scaling was all but a mess. Goku wasn't even meant to go he was meant to go SS1, but then they realized, oh crap, we gotta change the hair back to black and things like that for the afterlife. So that was crazy that they went ahead and did that with Goku and Pikkon, but you can actually see him as SS1 fighting the Ginyu Force in the next week's preview. But by the time they did the episode, they painted his hair to black, and that made people start calling it Super Saiyan Power, where Goku is in his base form and gains the power of a Super Saiyajin. This is like, okay. Oh man, yeah, some of those fillers were just dumb fun. Don't wreck your brain over, don't try to figure it out, but enjoy the action, enjoy the absurdity of it and everything and stuff. And the dub even made that even more hilarious and stuff like that. But yeah, glad to see Pikkon in there. Can't wait to see what they do for those moves. So yeah, we got our looks at Goku and Vegeta with the Galick Kamehameha, both of them shooting their attack techniques, and I love it how they show it fused and combined. I was really shocked to see that they got the final Kamehameha in there with Vegeta, so that was awesome. Love the technique, and it's probably going to shoot towards the character. So Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, new DLC coming soon. Man, love it, love it, love it, love it. Yeah, it was fun going down memory lane and everything on all this and stuff like that. So definitely. All right, we're going to get to our next breakdown, the Dragon Ball 40th anniversary. Respect to the late great Akira Toriyama. All right, so we got it started off with those shots of Dragon Ball Minus here. So I thought that was really cool. I'm actually, too, to let you guys know, I'm actually thinking about doing a Dragon Ball Dragon Ball manga live reading and analysis of it, as well as doing voice acting for some of the stuff and everything. Whenever it's a voice that I feel like I can do. And because I haven't read all of the Dragon Ball manga straight through, I know a lot of the differences. I've read bits and pieces, but I think that'd be really cool to do as a live stream idea to help continue to build more of these watch hours, to get towards monetize and stuff. But I have read Dragon Ball Minus before, so that was really cool. Cool in the sense that they're adding it. I was like most people, I'm a much bigger fan of the actual TV special Bardock the Father of Goku and the Japanese version of that. Highly recommend. Always watch the Japanese version of that for the English dub. If there's anything to go back and definitely redub for Dragon Ball Z, I wish they would do Bardock the Father of Goku. I enjoyed it for its time but it completely changed the whole script of everything. So yeah, that was really cool. Just seeing how they were doing Dragon Ball Minus and everything, which I guess is now the definitive way. Which the thing about Minus, it always contradicts because Toriyama actually did draw the panel from the OG TV special in the show. So it's interesting that they went that route and everything for it. So yeah, it was just really cool seeing it. And I know a lot of people felt like this just made the story more like Superman's story with Goku saying goodbye. I never forget. Take care. You have to stay alive. I think in the movie, is it right here? Remember us? I think, when they leave off, they said don't forget us, and I'm like, well, that's exactly what happens, because his head did hit his head fell into like the mountain, and then he ends up forgetting. So now this was just showing like the panels, but this is where I was like, oh, we actually see it animated here, and I was like, oh snap, this was fire. Because let me see, I think I really got the animators here. The 2D animator director, the 2D this was really cool. So it was directed by Naoki Miyahara, and the 2D animation directors for this was Shikashi Kubota, and they were a team for this whole thing, and the CGI director was Kima Hino. Kai Mahino, if I said those names right. They did a tremendous job with this for the 40th anniversary, and this was, of course, to that banging, awesome, wonderful music done by Hans Zimmer. Like, that was phenomenal. I was blown away when I saw this. I'm like, oh man, they've actually brought Toriyama's actual illustrations to life with like the Copic marker or watercolors, whatever material he was using for this at the time, and they're even staying true, because I think in the original manga, Bluma, aka Bulma's hair actually is blue, but then he ended up going with purple for the rest of the manga, and I think that's why in the anime they stuck with blue and just kept it that way. So that was really cool. Toriyama was always so really good at designing. Was always just so really good at designing the vehicles too as well. So he was just not only a character master design, but really good at the way he did technology and vehicles. So love Goku right there and everything. OG classic Goku. I remember seeing all these illustrations. I got a good friend of mine's one time from the anime club that I used to run at my art college. He had got me a illustration of Toriyama's, a book that had all of Toriyama's illustrations. So it was really cool to see this. It was like cool. The old Journey to the West crew and everything. Love this. This was really awesome how they animated this. The action shots, Goku and Muten Roshi. This was a big lesson in OG Dragon Ball that would set up Goku, just everything that Goku would always learn to always keep training, because there's someone out there better. This was like the classic OG fight, like one of the first big battles in Dragon Ball. So that was really awesome. Like I said, Tao Pai Pai, he was one of Dragon Ball, one of Goku's most formidable foes in the time, and it was really good stuff. So it was really good seeing him here. Piccolo, Daima, as I mentioned during the breakdown of Sparking Zero, love these illustrations and just how they brought it together. This was really cool. I love this. This is one of my favorite frames and shots that they did with the spinning, was it the Neobo and everything, and how he did that, aka Power Pole. Love that shot, how they brought it together. And this is cool because, see, what was really good and really cool about what, because let's see, the CG director was, I think, it was Kai Makino. The way the way he brought together, like, that was Toriyama's illustration. That's what Toriyama drew. But the way he transitioned and perfectly matched the texture and the animation to it, phenomenal. Like, that was just really awesome how they did that. Like, I didn't know if they were using AI to bring this together, but it was talented animators. And the way we got the 23 Tenkaichi Budokai, love that illustration. This is my favorite arc in the OG Dragon Ball anime, and one of the best that I think Toriyama ever put together. One of the best tournaments Toriyama ever put together, for sure. And then, yeah, the classic Goku Piccolo Junior battle, phenomenal battle, one of the greatest battles in all of Dragon Ball. If you love Goku and Vegeta's first fight, this fight, a lot of that fight was inspired from this fight here. So that was really awesome. The transition period of Goku and Gohan, a period that I always think is one of the most overlooked by those who think Goku's a bad father. This period is one of the most overlooked periods, I think. That 5-year time skip when they had no enemies and stuff, Goku, I think, spent a lot of time with his son, and his son thought very deeply of him, as we could see when Raditz was hurting, when his uncle Raditz showed up to hurt Goku. So that tells me Goku was being a really good father in those 5 years, and it really forces what I always say a lot, is that when considering everything, you got to look at everything. And one of the things you want to look at is not just how so much of what we see on screen or on panel with Dragon Ball is them during their most horrific times where they're being terrorized, the universe is being terrorized. What about those times of peace, the ones that we don't see? These moments right here. That's where I think you really got to see how much Gohan thought of Goku as a father. Of course, the classic poses, Goku and Vegeta. That was really awesome. Me and shout out to me and one of my besties, Rebecca Lilly, when we did our Goku fanboy versus Vegeta fangirl short film. We did these classic poses and everything, so this was really awesome to see. Love how they animated that with Goku doing, was this the Kaioken and everything, and how he just comes right at Vegeta with the fist, and then boom, the action frame. There you see Vegeta, how bad he got whacked in the face by Son Goku. Classic battle. Love the Frieza Goku illustrations right here. That's another classic design. Typical Toriyama, always showing that just because you're the smallest dog in a fight, you also might be the most dangerous too. So that was really awesome. This right here was really well animated. The way they did this, like, man, look at that. The kick, boom, Frieza going there, and then Goku and Vegeta, Frieza scaring up, Frieza going for the fist, boom, Goku dodges, and then right there, Frieza coming back with another right hook, and then boom, they get it another stalemate, and they boom, flying right each other. Oh, got the elbow clash, and then boom, Goku coming for the punch, no, Frieza dodges, and then right there, Frieza goes for another punch, Goku dodges, and then Goku goes for another punch, Frieza dodges, just dodging everybody over, and then Frieza coming in with another punch, Goku dodging, boom, another dodge. Look at this, dodges on point, Goku, bam, Frieza blocks it, and then boom, Frieza comes in with another punch, and then Frieza right there about to go with another kick. Oh, Goku is able to get out of time, and then look at that, Goku coming, Frieza is shocked. What's he gonna do here? And then Goku's about to get him fist. Frieza's looking in like he's trouble, and then Frieza's able to dodge at the last minute right there, bam, and then Goku comes ahead and flies at Frieza, bam, walks right into the kick in the face, bam, Frieza caught him in the opening, boom. Like I said, Frieza's so powerful, he shouldn't even be able to fight with a martial arts master like this with Goku, but by that point in the manga and that point in the anime Dragon Ball Z, it was so much about power. Someone untrained like Frieza could take the fight to a martial arts master like Son Goku, and then Goku coming right back with the fist, and then boom, Frieza about to go ahead and try to smack him, and then oh no, he missed it, and Goku goes for the kick, and I love the dodge that Frieza has right there, and then Frieza comes in with another kick, Goku boom is able to dodge, and then boom is able to go ahead and take out his fist right there, and then boom, Goku comes back with another punch, and Frieza is able to dodge that one, and Frieza comes in for another kick, oh barely missed it. Goku just barely missed it, but he's able to keep it in the fight. And he comes up with quick another punch, and then boom, Frieza comes in, and bam, Goku goes with another punch, dodge it. They are just throwing bombs, but very few is landing. And then bam, Goku gets Frieza with that kick. Woo! Coming in back, and then Frieza comes in with another kick, and then boom, look at that, both almost nearly took each other's heads off, and they're both coming in for a flying for the fences. And then right after there, boom, look at that dodge. Goku able to dodge with his knee, with his shin or knee there, and the elbow, and then Frieza trying to grab Goku's forearm with his leg and everything. And then we go right back to the illustration that Toriyama has. Man, woo! Love that that was quite some play-by-play right there. But yeah, I love these classic action stuff. Man, doing some of these play-by-plays for some OG Dragon Ball fights and Dragon Ball Z, some of these Dragon Ball classics, man, be all over the place with that. And I love this shot, SS1 Goku powering up, classic. And I think this was like Toriyama's more later modern design or shading and everything that he would do. Of course, I love this classic one. Just like I said, Toriyama was also a master at vehicles with Gohan and Goku right there. Classic battle, Cell and Goku, that was awesome. Love the attention to detail here where Gohan is doing the father-son Kamehameha. Love how they did the camera build up to this. This was phenomenal. Love it. And you see him do the Kamehameha, the impact frame, and then once the Kamehameha is unleashed, we see Son Goku's spirit right there behind him. And right there you go. Classic line, classic from the manga. Because in the manga, Goku is actually in his base form spiritually, but in the anime, the spiritual presence behind SS2 Gohan is SS1, and I guess they just thought it would fit more better. But yeah, this is another one of those classic moments where Goku, he truly believed in Gohan, and just one of the all-time greatest moments in Dragon Ball history. And then we get to the Buu saga. I remember I was so happy to see that SS2 Goku, and they have him flying after Gohan and Goten get out of frame. And yes, Majin Vegeta going ahead with the kick. Now this right here, the thing about Majin Vegeta in this, I felt like this was better, and this little sequence is almost better than the entire fight in the manga, honestly. Let me take a little break from the water here. All right, so Vegeta goes ahead with the big punch and with the big kick, and then boom, Goku goes ahead and dodges it, and Goku is like, oh man, Vegeta, you've been training a lot more harder than I thought you were. And Vegeta's like, I'm going to kill you, Kakarot. And then bam, right there, Vegeta comes in with the fist, and then boom, Goku catches him like, no, not today. And then bam, Goku, look at that, takes the fist, throws it down, and then he goes in for the kill. Boom, Vegeta goes ahead and dodges, and both of them had caught both of their fists right there. Look at them looking in the face. Goku's like, but you're like, yes, this is what our fate, our battle is, Kakarot. And then there you go, right there in the manga, and both of them trying to overpower each other. And look at that, love this stalemate. Boom, Goku getting with the punch and the kick to Vegeta, and Vegeta coming back with that kick, and Goku dodges that, and Vegeta goes for the kick, and Goku dodges that. And then look at that, Goku gets his fist right there, comes back in around with the fist. Boom, Vegeta's like, no, not today. He goes ahead and kicks Goku in the shin, and Goku comes back trying to get his fist. Look at that, like 2 or 3 shots, and then look at that, oh, trying to get him into an uppercut in the gut, and Vegeta's able to dodge it. Like, love how they're basically dodging all this while holding each other's fists and hands and everything to prevent the full damage being taken. Good stuff. Look at that. Look how Goku tries to kick, and Vegeta's like, no, oh, boom, basically comes on down, and look at that, both men still in a stalemate, and then boom, look at that, the knees to the fist. Yeah, this is like in the anime when they were doing like almost like the square dancing thing where they grabbed each other and they were trying to prevent each other from kneeing each other in the crotch. So they were doing like boom, 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 and then there's another one where they're holding each other just like that, and they're basically trying to they're trying to knee each other in the crotch again, but their knees just come up all colliding with one another. So that was really cool. And then once again right here you see this once again, a huge stalemate. Neither one can get the upper hand. Look at Vegeta trying to kick, trying to do what he can because their legs. Love the choreography in this whole thing. Like I said, that was better than what we got in the manga, because there's not much to it in the manga and everything. I think they just took one little sequence that Toriyama drew and they made the most of that scene, man. That was awesome. And then of course we get Super Vegito. I think they called him Vegetarat, which I think is the translation they use in the Viz manga. Super Boo and all that stuff and everything. Yes, sir. SS3 Goku, my favorite transformation, my favorite form. Love the shine that it got here and the way they animated this. Like, that was awesome. Where he's about to, unleash his ki blast and it stops there. Gotenks about to do the same thing with another punch, unleashes the ki blast there, stops. And then from there, you got Gohan. He comes all the way in, Ultimate Gohan. He's pulling back and then look at that, he stops. And then love how it goes from the animation and then perfectly goes into Toriyama's illustration. This is one of my favorite illustrations, man. Like, this type of Toriyama, this shading, like, oh my gosh, love the shading, love the details, love it, man. Toriyama's artwork, phenomenal. And then I love how the blast goes in there, and then we get to his more modern day style with the classic Majin Buu characters and everything. And stuff like that, which is, like I said, my favorite arc in the entire Dragon Ball franchise. And then I love how they did this with Son Goku going in the sky, flying towards in space Kaioken, and then transforms SS1, and then he transforms again SSG Super Saiyan God, and then he transforms SS Blue Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, and then he comes ahead and he flies. It goes like to the purple energy, and it's Megate no Gokui Son Goku Ultra Instinct Master. Dun, 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 dun. I love that song, that theme from Sumitomo. And Goku flies right here, Mastered Ultra Instinct, love it. And then we leave Earth and we see the Beyond the Limit, and I love that it's showing Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, aka Fakatsu no F, and then Dragon Ball Super and everything. These are all like the illustrations from the manga from Toriyama. Love it. Dragon Ball Super Broly, and then Dragon Ball Super Hero, man, love it. Dragon Ball Daima, just the way they encapitalize all of Toriyama's designs, such a wonderful tribute to him, was phenomenal. And this is the big moment that got the biggest reaction out of me when I first saw it on the live stream. I love how it goes into the 1-star Dragon Ball. A new chapter begins. And then there it is, the Galactic Patrol arc. And I was like, yes, finally, man, I was so stoked. Yeah, go check out my Genki Dama Matsuri. I got a highlights video and everything on there, just my reaction, or you can just type on my channel my reaction to the news. I was so excited. Oh man, and that looks like Shintani's design. I'll get more into that later, but yeah, Goku and Vegeta with the Galactic Patrol symbol. Like, finally we are here, man. This was phenomenal, and seeing it in the details frame by frame here for this breakdown, man, that it was great. Once again, like I said, I cannot give enough praise. Shout out to Naoki Miyahana, Naoki Miyahara, Shikashi Kobata, and Kai Mikino. They killed it. They absolutely killed it. Phenomenal job, and what a tremendous way once again to pay homage to the late great Akira Toriyama. Yeah, and you see that everybody that was involved, and just everybody, this whole team, y'all slapped. Y'all absolutely slapped with this one. 40th anniversary with a big bombshell of an announcement that was waited for so long. Man, this was phenomenal. And you had Hans Zimmer composing the music for this. I thought at one point he was going to compose he's going to be composing the arc. I was like, oh snap. But the fact that Hans Zimmer was able to come in for just the 40th anniversary, phenomenal. Man, awesome stuff out there. Yeah, they definitely, Toei Animation, absolutely. Bird Studio, Suisha, the copyrights, but obviously, I think Toei Animation is the one. Yeah, they produced it. This was phenomenal. Excellent job. All right, so we're going to get to our last part of the breakdown here before we enter the analysis side. So, for the breakdown here, we got Dragon Ball Super Beerus. Yeah, so we got Beerus opening and everything, and right off the bat, I'm like, okay, the animation looking fire here, and I love it. Like, this is just beautiful. This is gorgeous. The way they made Beerus realm look, and the way they did the music was actually pretty banging too, I thought. The zoom in to Super Saiyan, aka Super Saiyajin, aka Super Saiyan, Son Goku. That was awesome. The way he turned, and I love the shot there going into the eyes, how he's in the battleground, the battle ready form, and coming right there to the eyes. That was just good. Just seeing him fight here and everything. Good stuff. And we're seeing like glimpses from the anime, how it's gonna look, the Kamehameha, and the way it zooms in with the herb, and then it blows up like that. Like, okay, this is good. And the tease of Super Saiyajin God, good stuff there. So yeah, that's when we see this is gonna be Dragon Ball Super Beerus, and it's confirmed. Like, okay, we're getting a remake here, or as they would eventually call it, an enhanced version. And just the way this looked, the way the animation looked, and the way Beerus' eye comes up, like, I was looking at this and I'm like, okay, this animation definitely reminds me of kind of what we got with Shintani and Dragon Ball Super Broly, as well as the animation style that we got in Dragon Ball Daima and everything and stuff like that. So this was I was like, okay, we this is the best that this has ever looked and everything. And we see just how menacing Beerus looks, and the visual effects, of course, were good. Just even like the little tongue thing that he did because he was so happy, and the blast. Like, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous looking. I've watched the trailer several times since it happened, and yeah, like, I wasn't really particularly hyped, nor I don't even think the audience was, but visually looking at it, this was really good. And you see Beerus right there, just, man, like, this stuff was looking really good. It looked like time was put into this. That's the for sure thing. Not the rush botch operation they were doing when Dragon Ball Super first began over a decade ago and stuff, where they were rushing these talented animators to try and make a masterpiece in very little time. Like, yeah. So I really love it. And it looks like Yamamuro, who's been the Dragon Ball, one of the main Dragon Ball animation directors, looks like he is doing this project just from that style, I can tell, because yeah, he kind of does like the sharp edge signs and stuff, which I know a lot of fans aren't a fan of his modern day style. I personally myself love what he was doing, like with the Cell and Buu saga back in the 90s and everything. But yeah, I love it. The line work here, and Goku basically powering up, look at that, speed lines, and he powers up SS2, and Vegeta, look at that. Yes, I recognize that shot right away, dude. That looks sick. The way they're doing the impact frames on this, phenomenal. This is, of course, during the famous "That's my Bulma" line, so I love that. And this is interesting because one of the things, and I'll talk more about this in the analysis side, my understanding is it's not fully a remake here, because they are going to be recycling some of the same shots from the show that were already really well done like this, and they're just basically coloring over it and adding enhancements to it. So yeah, we're actually going to be getting some of the shots that we did have, and they got like the purple electricity instead of the blue electricity, so Vegeta going SS2, and this is something that really need to be remade. SS2 Goku, love these shots here. Look how clean and crisp that looks as he's boxing Beerus and everything. Look at that. These are clean, man. Yanyo is back. Thanks for joining the chat again. I appreciate it. Look how clean. Look at that smooth kick. Like, man, look at that. And I think a lot of people would agree, if they were gonna remake Dragon Ball, this fight needed to be remade, because it was fine the way it was in the movie. But when they got to the episode 5, the way they had Goku looking against Beerus, like, okay, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Boom. These are clean, man. I love that we can frame. You couldn't do this with what came on episode 5. Man, oh man, you could not do this, because every frame did not look good at all. And that's nothing against the animators. They were talented, but man, you can't tell one of the best animators. You can't have them coming in and saying, here, I want you to make me a masterpiece that takes one whole week's worth of work, and I need you to make it for me in about 5 hours. Not saying that they had 5 hours, it takes a lot more, but I'm like, yeah, I mean, if it's a paint job that takes 1 week, it's not gonna look that best if they only got 5 hours and have to rush through it and they got to do multiple ones. But yeah, just like Yaniel says in the chat, that was sick. Yeah, this looks fantastically amazing, frame by frame. Here, you can just see the level of care, the level of detail that they are putting into this fight with Goku and Beerus, and I love the SS3, which is, I think this is directly taken from the movie 12 Fusion Reborn when Goku goes SS3. So this is really awesome. I love the impact frames, and I love the way the thunder is happening all around North Kyle Sama, aka King Kai's planet. The electricity, just look at these awesome shots of Beerus, man. Vegeta flying, like I recognize these shots being used from the episode, which actually I did like Vegeta versus Beerus in the anime Battle Gods better than the actual movie. So that is awesome. I love it. You can tell they can see which ones don't need to be remade. SS3 Goku, man, looking awesome. Look at that. SS3 Goku looking fantastic. Like Yaniel says in the chat, he said he's so excited for the remake and everything. Yeah, having watched the trailer a few times, I've had 2 months to digest it. Looking at it, I'm actually stoked for it now. I am looking forward to it. Look at the beautiful. Look at this SS3 Goku, the eyes. Now, this was a shot that was used in the actual original version of Dragon Ball Super, and now they've got it where Goku is getting blue, the blue lighting atmosphere, as opposed to where the original was just keeping it with the standard colors and everything. Love that, man. Love the shot here, and boom, look at that, the Kamehameha shooting off Beerus. Like these are just fantastic. Like even Shenlong, look at the beautiful glowing and how Shenlong, aka Shenron, is summoned. Like this looks fantastic. Goten and Trunks, loving them going SS1 there. Gohan, love how he looks going SS1. Vegeta going SS1. Like these are fantastically drawn. Videl looks fantastic. Like look at the visual effects around her, and everything, and the way they did the hair moving. Like this looks awesome. Goku going SS1. This is just phenomenal. This is the best that this story has ever looked, and how they do the ritual and everything like that. And whoo, Beerus, look at that, man. I love the red glow effect on him and everything. And Whis, look at SS God Goku. Man, this is phenomenal. Look at that. And that form is looking phenomenal here. I love it because I do like the SS God form Goku. At first, I thought like it's just a skinny Goku with Kaioken and fire, but really grew to love that form. That form really grew on me and everything, and phenomenally love it. So just the way they got Goku looking absolutely awesome. Kami to Kami, I think it was God versus God. Yeah, man, that was phenomenal and everything, and how they did that. And we got the fist colliding. Real talk, this was actually one of the things that I both loved and also greatly disliked about the fight in the anime. What I liked is this was something that they added in the anime versus the movie, where they would collide their fists, and it was really good at illustrating just how much on a much more powerful level Beerus and Son Goku and Super Saiyan God was, because it illustrated to the audience what they were explaining during this was that they were controlling their ki so much to a level that had they not had control of the power, their fist colliding would send shockwaves that was strong enough, because it was sending shockwaves out into the universe, but the shockwaves would have been strong enough to completely destroy the entire universe. And I love that because it really illustrated to the audience to understand that these two were putting out power that was far beyond anything we've seen in Dragon Ball Z. And so I like that. The problem was they kept having them collide fists for almost an entire episode. I'm like, they're just dragging this fight out. Like, okay, the first time was good. It illustrated, keep it moving. Let's do some new sequences, see some new choreography. And thankfully, it sounds like Dragon Ball Super Beerus is only going to be 8 episodes, but I'll talk more about that in the analysis side of this stream. But yeah, back to these beautiful, gorgeous looking shots of Beerus right here. Even that, I think that's a recycled frame from the movie. I mean, from the show. But yeah, Trunks and Bluma, aka Bulma, just looking phenomenal. Krillin, aka Krillin, 18. Just the way these shots are looking with the lights, phenomenal. Like, yeah, these are so much better than what we got in the actual show. Even like the magic hour atmosphere lighting they got for Vegeta here, phenomenal. Beerus, love the eyes with God, the Super Saiyan God form, and you see Beerus and Goku both punching each other, and I love it. Like, this is great. Boom! Look at that, Beerus like with that huge speed line punch right to Goku. Oh, and then like when Beerus shoots him in the blast, and I wonder if we're gonna get more of Goku and Beerus fighting in Super Saiyan God, or if they're gonna do where his SS1 form ends up getting the power of Super Saiyan God, how they did that in the movie. So yeah, Beerus goes ahead and does the big long punch right there. Goku looking, and I love the big explosion right there. That was awesome on the whole place. So I don't know if that's in the cave, and we're gonna get that awesome line, like, you know, Sean Schemmel, one of the best lines I think he ever delivered with Goku. I will not let you destroy my world! Like, I love that line. Like, I don't know if we're gonna get that, man. That was awesome. The big explosion there, Beerus flying towards, like, I love it, man. Like, this looks good. Like, look how awesome that looks right there. Like, this has time put into it. That's what I'm talking about. And the way they even do the visual effects for the key, Goku and Beerus fighting, I guess, in space or slightly above the atmosphere where they can still see some space. I don't think they ever really explain that, so hopefully that gets explained. Like, it can SS God Goku be able to breathe in outer space with the aura around him? I don't know. They really never explained that, but yeah, just these shots look really awesome. Beerus and Goku going at it. Love the purple ki blasts there. Like, just phenomenal. Like, the shading, they done their thing with this. Goku, Beerus, love the camera rotation. We got SS Goku powering up, talking. Beerus right there, loving that shot, and just phenomenal the way all these are looking here. The impact frames, Beerus, look at the power up. This was the end of the trailer when they started doing the yelling, the powering out. Look at that, love it. Beerus powering up, Goku powering up, Beerus getting in there, Goku there. They're using those composite auras, not the really like hand-drawn auras and everything, so I guess maybe they did that as a time-saving measure and everything. But yeah, these are just looking phenomenal, man. Like, it really makes the battle feel very tremendous. Yanyo says, sorry for interrupting, what will be your favorite part where let me move my so I can see your full message here. There we go. Will be your favorite part where the parts of the manga get remade in the anime. Oh yeah, I'm actually going to be talking more about that coming up in my analysis and everything and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. That's awesome right here. Yeah, just loving like this right here. This is one of my favorite impact frames. Like, Dragon Ball's always done impact frames, but when they're doing it like this, that looks phenomenal. Like, dude, if I could get that printed out and put that as my my background and everything for my phone, I would absolutely do that. That looks phenomenal. This is one of my favorite impact shots, and this is why I like doing the frame by frame, because man, you never know what it's gonna look like. And the way Goku is powering up there and Beerus is powering up, like, they make it feel like this is an epic battle and stuff. And that's one thing I hope we get out of this. I hope we get out of this. I really hope that they make this battle feel more epic than what both the show and the movie did for Battle of Gods, because it should feel like a battle of two deities going at it. So I think this animation is gonna bring it, and I really hope they do. So yeah, Dragon Ball Super Beerus, and the way they did the ending shot of Beerus talking, like, Beerus looks phenomenal. The shading, everything. I know I didn't use the word phenomenal so many times, but that's just the way I can describe it. Like, animation, absolutely looking on point. And there you see that sinisterness. I wonder, because in Battle of Gods, Beerus kind of comes off like a little bit more polite, goofy, and lovable, but then once you cross the line with him with the pudding thing, then Beerus is turned into a whole nother person. But in the anime version of Super, he was a lot more sinister, and that's kind of what they're teasing here. He's going to be there, and I think that may have been closer to Toriyama's original design, original concept for when it came to Beerus. So it'll be interesting to see what route they go there. Of course, coming September 2026, and we are finally finished. That concludes the breakdown portion of live stream. I just went through 836 frames. Boy, that takes me back to when I did those Dragon Ball Daima reviews and stuff. So yeah, that was awesome. Thank you all so much, by the way, who've been coming into the streams and everything. I really appreciate it. So we're gonna keep things rolling here and get into the analysis side. So yeah, that was fun doing a little good style breakdown. So this will be my chance to go ahead and talk about just my overall thoughts and everything like that. So when it comes to the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC, as far as what I can say about it, trying to keep my throat up here. Still got some more to talk about. And everything. Yanyo says, what do you think the new game will be? I'll be talking about that in the next part of the analysis. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. But as far as Dragon Ball Sparking Zero goes, this feels to me like a legacy download, because what they're basically doing is putting a bunch of characters in the games that were already in the previous Tenkaichi 3 games. Like, I think a lot of us expected that, okay, everybody from Tenkaichi 3 is coming right over to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but we're looking forward to the new Dragon Ball Super characters. But instead, man, they left a lot of people. I don't even know where they gave us a higher character count and everything. And it's really weird for me as a fan and a content creator, because as a fan, I personally would have absolutely, I would have loved if for the games we would have gotten the characters. I think I would have loved had we gotten, like, if it would have taken to summer of 2026 as a fan, I would be like, okay, more content for the game, pack it in there, give us as much of a complete game as possible. But y'all know how they are with video games nowadays and everything. Y'all know how they want to basically be having it where you got to have a lot of DLC content. That's the way games are done. And I'm just getting back into gaming with Sparking Zero and everything. So had I been like a hardcore gamer that's playing all these games, I could imagine how much hundreds, if not thousands of dollars I'd probably be spending on DLC content to play multiple games. But yeah, in fact, if any of you are gamers in the chat or watching these in the comment section, let me know, for those of you, how much do you spend yearly on downloadable content for multiple games? So yeah, that I would have been okay with a perfect game, because I was like, don't rush it. The game was already 5 years in production when they finally announced it. But from a business side, I can understand they wanted to get the game out closer to like Dragon Ball Daima's review, to Dragon Ball Daima, because they wanted to have all that DLC come out and everything, and now they're adding all the legacy DLC content. And I gotta be honest, even for me, from a business side standpoint, because I'm trying to get monetized here on YouTube and stuff and everything, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is going to always have a special place in my heart, especially because it might be the game that takes me to finally getting monetized. So without Sparking Zero, man, the channel would not be where it is right now. It has created so much content that I've been able to repurpose into long form videos on a daily basis. I always upload 8 shorts a day, so much content, and I've been able to grow. I mean, my subscribers, like I said, I'm over 9,000 subscribers now, on the way to 10K, and on top of that, man, it's like, dang, yeah, I don't know where my channel would be, because I'm trying to work on all this content that's going to be evergreen content, and if I didn't have Sparking Zero to be able to put that content out quick, I don't know where my channel would be in 2025, the fall of 2025, when I started playing Sparking Zero. So in a way, I'm like, oh, I'm glad they released the game when they did, because I would have been in trouble and stuff like that, because my hours were going down. That's the way the YouTube system works. There's like 4,000 watch hours and stuff like that. and it goes down. It's like 4,000 watch hours that go down, and whatever you uploaded last year ages out, so you're constantly in a race running against it. And so Sparking Zero has allowed me to do that with these live streams, so I am grateful for this game and everything. So it's gonna be even more content that I'm looking forward to playing, so I'll definitely will be covering the new DLC. I'm very interested to see where the new mode is. I'm wanting to see who are going to be more characters going out, and once they're done with this, that's always what I've wondered about Sparking Zero, is that I'm like, this game's gonna have a lot of content for years to come, because there's so many more minor characters you can add. Like once again, Dragon Ball GT. I know a lot of people don't like the Power Brothers, but I always thought it would be hilarious to do the Power Brothers dance against some of the most serious and most powerful characters. Imagine making 18, Vegeta, Broly, Omega Shenron, just some of the most serious characters in the franchise's history do the dance and everything. Like, man, that would be absolutely hilarious. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Sparking Zero and seeing this new mode and everything, and just having a good time playing it, seeing how the tag team stuff is going to work. So overall, I'm looking forward to the new Sparking Zero DLC. They got more coming out on Battle Hour. I don't know if I'll cover that and everything, but if there's any big significant news that comes out about it, I might make a live stream out of that. So yeah. Alrighty, and then let's see, in the chat, Nyanyo says, I don't waste that much on downloadable content. It depends on the game. Well, smart move there. That definitely makes a lot of sense. If you're not that emotionally invested into a certain game to want to keep playing downloadable content, that is definitely a good move right there financially. And I can imagine it's probably the same way for a lot of people and everything. I'm gonna buy the DLC for the Dragon Ball game, Sparking Zero, and eventually Kakarot, and probably even Fighters. But that's because obviously it's gonna be a big part of my content. This is mostly a Dragon Ball focused channel, and so obviously it makes sense for me to focus on those Dragon Ball games. So moving on to my thoughts on here. So the new game is Age 1000, and let's see, I got it here in my notes right here. So apparently with that, it was, where was it? Let's see, I think I put in my notes. So yeah, what was it, oh gosh, I'm trying to find my notes here. What did I put here? So yeah, Bandai Namco's Southeast Asian YouTube account had a playlist link titled Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, and they quickly remove it. But y'all know fans were going to be all on it. They saw the buzz and saw, okay, that's clearly what this is. This is Xenoverse 3. So Xenoverse 3, basically, I'll be honest, I haven't played the Xenoverse games like that. I did play the first Xenoverse game when it came out in 2015, and I loved it. I thought it was a breath of fresh air, really, because I've played the PS1 Dragon Ball games, particularly Final Bout, Dragon Ball GT, Final Bout, and Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22. I played those games, and of course I played the Budokais, Super DBZ, Sagas, the Tenkaichi games, Infinite World, and I played the PS3 games, Raging Blast 1 and Burst Limit, like those games, especially Burst Limit. But yeah, around that time I was in art college, and I started falling off of these games, and I never really got in. I didn't play Raging Blast 2 outside of a demo, and Ultimate Battle 22 I did play, but I was done with it after the story mode. Battle with Z I didn't play, so it's like, yeah, that PS3/360 era of video games for Dragon Ball, man, it was not it. There was a lot of fatigue when it came to those games. But when the PS4 era started up, we got Xenoverse. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I knew a little bit about Xenoverse. I'm like, it looks like it's based off of Dragon Ball Online and a lot of those special card arcade games that were going on in Japan. So I'm like, oh snap, is this their way of bringing it to the worldwide audience? I was like, oh, this is fire. So I'm like, let's go with this one and everything. So I was absolutely definitely looking forward to that and everything like that when we get to that and all that stuff and everything. One moment, I'm trying to fix my screen here so I can see the chat. Okay, I guess that is the that's about as far as that will go and everything. But yeah, one of the things that I absolutely really did enjoy when it came to Xenoverse was just the originality. It did follow the OG Dragon Ball Z story, but there was enough there with it, I think, in terms of like incorporating things from Dragon Ball Online that I thought really made the game stand out. And so I really love that part of it and everything. Other things that I really did like about Xenoverse 2 the following years, it kind of loosely followed like I like Mira and Toya. That was really awesome, and I played the story mode, but I never got really into playing all the content. But I see the game has gone on for quite a long time, and with Xenoverse 2 I was still working on my short film Battle Deception at the time, and because of that I was very busy as a content creator, and so I never really committed to playing games. So for the decade that was going on, this game had a lot of downloadable content, but a lot of people really liked it, and so I thought that was awesome. And so it looks like I know Xenoverse 3 has been something that has been wanted for a while. So even if I don't play it, I'm very happy for all of you out there who are Xenoverse fans. I'm super glad. I'm super stoked for you. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, I know it's been a long time coming, and it's going to be really awesome. One thing that I was going to also say about Xenoverse 3 when it comes here is that yeah, Dragon Ball Online. So it was first released in South Korea on February 4th, 2010. So the game is an MMORPG set 216 years after the original manga, and it basically was released only in like Asian countries, Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea. So yeah, that was one of the things. Now, one of the things we do know is that Akira Toriyama, he completely supervised basically yeah, Dragon Ball Online 216 years after where Dragon Ball ended. And I think that might be because I was listening to Kaiser Neko and Lenny Pator of Team 4-Star. I was listening to their live stream several weeks ago, and they were talking about or Kaiser Neko was talking about how this might be Toriyama's attempt to get Dragon Ball Online to take off worldwide. Yanyo says in the chat, Xenoverse 2 has so much content that I lose count. Man, I can imagine. Yeah, they're constantly still releasing content for that, so that is absolutely something for sure. But yeah, Xenoverse, the thing about it with Xenoverse 3, when it comes to that game here, one moment, I am losing track of there we go. Okay, I am back up and running here. Yeah, one of the things about that game overall was with Dragon Ball Online. I did not play it. Obviously I couldn't since I was in America, and I mean, I guess people could download it, and there's some people that had their own servers, but the servers stopped for it. There was a lot of cool things, like I think I heard that was where Goku and Vegeta had basically fought until like they were 100 years old, and that's like the ending of it. I know Majin Buu basically Majin Buu basically what was it, repopulated himself with multiple Majins and stuff. We get to see there's a new breed of Namekians or Namexians where they kind of have like the light green skin around their mouths and stuff. So a lot of stuff that's already in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. You have like I said, Mira and Toya are in the game. I love their designs and stuff. So in hearing like Trunks become like the time patroller and everything, so it's just so much cool stuff that we're going to get to see. And that was one of my complaints about Dragon Ball Super, is how I was saying that Dragon Ball Super so many times, it really, when you think about it, Dragon Ball Super, because it's in that 10-year time skip, it's like we don't get to see what we all know how it's gonna all end for these characters. I wanted to see things where in Dragon Ball, what happens after the end of Z, what happens at the end of the manga. And so it's like before Toriyama left this world, he ended up basically putting that in there with the 216 your time skip, and a lot of that is put in here. And one of the reasons why I'm so stoked for this too is because when Toriyama passed away, we didn't hear much information about him as far as like what did he leave behind, any notes. And we find out that Toriyama was heavily involved before he passed away with this. And much respect, like I said in that trailer, much respect to Akira Toriyama for, you know, he was essentially in his dying days still putting out so much work, which I know he did say in an interview he wasn't confident in his health, that he had much time left, but he was going to try for as long as he could to continue delivering as much cool stuff as he could for Dragon Ball fans worldwide. And seeing that he was passionately working into this was really good. And what I like about Age 1000 is I feel like this sets up for things if Toyotaro goes past the end of Z, which it looks like the manga was heading towards. There's a lot of elements that can be used from this game to be taking Dragon Ball beyond the future and everything. This is deep in the future. Like we asked, like I just want to see what happened after Goku and Oob left the 27th Tenkaichi Budokai, but I'm like, okay, Toriyama's taking us way into the future. So I really am looking forward to this. And now that I am playing Dragon Ball games as part of my content strategy for live streams, maybe I will pick up Xenoverse 3 and play that. I'm very curious in terms of seeing where the story is going and stuff like that. So definitely I'm looking forward to that. Overall, yeah, like I said, I think this is going to be Xenoverse 3. We'll probably find out more when they announce the stuff at Battle Hour. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see where this goes story-wise, how it's all implemented. And none of that. One of the things that I've always said about Akira Toriyama, you know, you can say what you want to about his writing. You know, sometimes, you know, obviously, yeah, like as I mentioned in my tribute video to me, it wasn't the best writer. He kind of, you know, he wrote the story off the top of his head. He was the discovery writer, and so there would be contradictions and plot holes and stuff. But one thing is for sure, Toriyama was so dang creative, and that creativeness, I think, mixed in with his more simplified storytelling is what really allowed it to really resonate with people all over the world. Because like I said, he did a lot of studying of different cultures and religions and stuff, and put it all into one series that could identify, I think, with anyone all over the world. And his world building, like I said, the character designs, the worlds that he would build, it's one of the reasons why I thought it was such a pleasure to watch Dragon Ball Daima, just seeing the creativity side of Toriyama. Man, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what more gets announced about Age 1000. At this point, like I said, I think it's going to be Xenoverse 3, and I'm happy for all you Xenoverse fans out there. I'm super happy for you, so definitely there's going to be more to come there. Alrighty, and so now we get to the big one and everything that a lot of people were really definitely probably looking forward to on this one. Perhaps the biggest announcement, the biggest thing to come out of this whole Dragon Ball announcement ordeal, and that is that yes, we are officially getting the Galactic Patrol arc / the Moro arc. Let me take a little break here. Oh man, as I have mentioned, it has been a long time coming. Man, tables have finally turned around. It's like that song you guys know from Sick Puppies from 2009, You're Going Down, which was also used as the official theme song for WWE Extreme Rules. It's been a long time coming, but the tables turn around. All right, sorry for my horrible singing, but yeah, you guys get the point. Man, a long time coming indeed. Finally, so glad to see this arc. I call it the Moro arc for short because Moro is the main villain. And I think in the manga it was called the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc. But man, they're just calling it the Galactic Patrol arc. So it's in production. Late 2027 window is what it's being targeted, and apparently they're gonna have teams crossing over from Beerus and as well as crossing over from the Beerus animation department and the the Beerus animation department, and we're also going to be having the was it the Beerus animation department as well as the Galactic Patrol. So they're kind of working on it at the same time, which is good, because I was wondering, is this one where they're going to be just releasing the Moro arc and slowly catching up the Dragon Ball Super enhanced stuff? But yeah, they've got different departments, which I think is really good. The animation quality is looking really good. So the strong insider reports going on is Norihiro is Narihiro Shintani reportedly drew the official promo visual that you're seeing right there with Vegeta and Goku, and he was of course the main animation supervisor for Dragon Ball Super Broly, which is a phenomenal looking film, beautiful, gorgeous looking film, the best that Dragon Ball I think has ever looked. He did like a lot of those huge fights and everything, and it's sounding a lot more like that basically he is going to possibly be returning to do the animation supervisor. And if he's doing it, let's go. Let's freaking go, because Shintani, man, coming back. I heard he costs a lot of money, which is why they don't use him a lot, and they used him for Dragon Ball Super Broly. But if he's coming back to do this, man, this movie's gonna look phenomenal. We never even got to see Migati no Gokui, aka Ultra Instinct. We never got to see him. We only got the little tease of it in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, with the part where Goku's like powering up and he goes silver hair and then it just goes to blue. Man, I'm looking forward to this. Is it called the Sasuno or whatever? I forget. Oh my gosh. What is that? Let me look it right up. Make sure, because I know like what's his name? Sasuke Uchiha in Naruto does it. Goku Sasuno, is it? Susano. Susano. Yeah. Susano, yeah, Goku Susano. The way he did that at the end of the arc, I can't wait to see that animated. And in terms of the music, what I'm actually hoping is that we get Norihiro Sumitomo. I hope he's returning, because the bangers that he was putting out towards like the Goku Black arc, and especially in the Tournament of Power and the Dragon Ball Super Broly, man, I love those music. Like, like the battle, like I think it was Goku Black theme. Of course, I always love it. The Ultra Instinct theme, which I found out may have been something that he was inspired to make from the a song at the beginning of the Aladdin theme of the Aladdin movie from Disney. Love that song with the trumpets and everything. Man, even if they make like a big orchestra of that, especially at the end when the Susano Goku appears, like, man, that would be epic. Dude, I love the bangers. The banger that he put out in Dragon Ball Super Broly with what was it? He did the Gogeta Cheetah, Cheetah, go Broly! Like, oh my gosh, I love that theme song. Gogeta versus Broly. I've listened to so many different theme songs from that I would absolutely love if he comes back with some more bangers like that. That would be so awesome, so phenomenal. So I would love to see that entered. But overall, yeah, I'm just stoked to see this animated. I think we're gonna get some of the best fights we've seen ever animated, especially after seeing what was done with Dragon Ball Daima and everything. Like, this is gonna be phenomenal. I just can't wait. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be bringing in all the heavy hitters, all the animators. Like, I got a list of them right here. So we got Tadayoshi Yamamuro, who obviously, he's, I look like he's the main one doing the Dragon Ball Super Beerus animation. But yeah, man, he's like the longtime chief supervisor since the 90s, like doing the Cell Games finale and super character. Like I said, I was a big fan of how his stuff looked back in the Cell Saga and Buu Saga. Other animators I think we're going to be seeing is Yuya Takahashi. Takahashi. Now, Yuya Takahashi. Oh my gosh, let me get some water for this. Yuya Takahashi, that man is a fan favorite for the animators because when that man dropped his style in the Tournament of Power, oh my gosh, he did that awesome SS1 Vegeta transformation too back in Dragon Ball Super Broly. Like, Yuya Takahashi, that guy is phenomenal. His animation style, oh my gosh, did you guys see what he did in Dragon Ball Daima? That awesome Goku transformation from SS1, 2 to 3, and then Goku in 3 goes like, there's one more, and he transforms the 4. The way he did Goku powering up, and the way the dark shading, the detail shading, I love Yuya Takahashi style, man. He's kind of like what Yamamuro was back in the 90s. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see when Yuya Takahashi ends up taking the reins for his portions of the animation. It's going to be straight fire. We're also going to have Nahoto Shida, Notoshi, sorry, I know I'm butchering the Japanese names, but I want to give these people respect. Nahotoshi Shida. He's a fight scene legend, so he delivered like animations around like Super Goku Black. Like, that's when the animation in the Dragon Ball Super really started turning up the page. He's also even went wild in like even Dragon Ball Hero promos, like, man. And Shida's been around for a long time, so I expect he's going to be in there. Of course, Kazuyoshi Nakasuru, who is the designer of Super Saiyajin 4, both in Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball Daima, and he has done a lot of the big final battles. Like, they have called upon him to do some of the big final battles in Dragon Ball history, so you know he's going to be all in this, especially in that final battle with the Sasuno Goku and Moro fight. Also, Naoki Miyahara, he was the one, like I said, directed Naoki, directed the Toriyama, had directed the tribute for Toriyama and all that stuff and everything. Let me just double check my facts right there. Make sure I got my notes right here. Yep, he was the one, and he did a Goku fight with he did the Goku fight with Kid Buu, which is one of my favorite fights in the old anime. So yeah, definitely Miyahara is gonna be awesome. And of course, we got from Dragon Ball Super, Shikashi Kubata, the 2D animation director of Superhero, is coming in. Was also a part. Kubata was part of Daima. So yeah, I remember watching Dragon Ball Superhero, and we'll talk more about this when I finally get around to releasing that Dragon Ball Superhero review. The animation style for that opening scene, I was like, man, if that's how Dragon Ball's animation looks moving forward, then sign me up. Like, yeah, we got so many talented animators being in there. Like I said, Norihiro Shintani coming back from Broly is going to probably be awesome. And then of course there's Yoshitaka Yashina and Aya Komaki. They were the co-directors of Dragon Ball Daima. And I said this, man, phenomenal props to them, because what both of them did was they took Dragon Ball Daima, and I covered Dragon Ball Daima very thoroughly on this channel. They really made Dragon Ball Daima from top to bottom. Say what you want to about the story, but from top to bottom, start to finish, Dragon Ball Daima is the greatest, most consistently looking, visually beautiful anime ever for Dragon Ball in history. Like, everything from episode 1 to the end of the final episode 20, phenomenal. It is consistently great, and I think that's what they're going to be doing with the animation here moving forward in Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, we got a lot of heavy hitters most likely lined up for Dragon Ball Super, for Dragon Ball Daima, Dragon Ball Galactic Patrol arc. And obviously spoilers, because it's been out for over 5 years and everything. I'm just stoked for it, because what we're gonna have here, really, when you think about it, for this arc, Dragon Ball the Galactic Patrol arc, the Moro arc, it was the closest I felt we had to the storytelling that we got in Dragon Ball Z. Villain shows up, villain has like henchmen, the Z fighters, the dragon team. They have to really find ways to try and overcome the odds, and they do eventually. And there was a lot more better training gone into this. There's so much character development with Vegeta on Namek. Like I said, Fat Majin Buu gets to play a lot of role. You get a lot of great stuff. The Ultra Instinct was even used even more heavily in this. There was a lot of good stuff. There is a part where Goku kind of goes back to the old roots of, leave this planet now and stuff like that. But after watching some of the content with Geekdom 101 and Jordan, I think I might have to relook at that. When I do the manga read-throughs, I might have to read through this and do another deeper study of Goku's character and everything, because I know I was one of the people complaining about that in the moment. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Beerus, he's another character I really enjoyed thoroughly in that arc. There's a scene in the opening. You want to talk about some of the greatest all-time opening scenes? There is an opening scene, like, I'm talking about like Goku Black, when he completely broke Bluma, aka Bulma's neck, and she just disintegrated into fire. Or you think of Imperfect Cell, when that very wealthy rich guy, he stabbed him and basically drunk his essence and stuff, and that guy just melted and turned to like a skeleton corpse and stuff. Like, haunting visuals. The beginning of this, there's a scene where Goku, and this terrified me in the manga, like got a jump out of me. I was like, oh, I remember reading the manga. Goku, he tries to sense the presence of Moro, and the way Toyotaro drew it in the manga, we're getting closer and closer, going through space, and they're far deep in the universe, and he looks into Moro's jail cell, basically, and the way Moro is animated, where he's like turned, and he's like just got this smirk, he's staring into your soul. The way Toyotaro drew that, and Goku goes like, like, man, I was like, whoa. I cannot wait to see how they animate that. That is Moro's introduction. Wow, I cannot wait to see that, man. And another reason why I narratively really love the Moro arc is because for so long in Dragon Ball Super, Goku was fighting all these powerful enemies, and I was like, man, why does he even care about facing Oob in the end? And the way they tied it all back to the end of Dragon Ball Z / the second half of the manga was phenomenally great. I really loved it when what is it, the ultimate Supreme Kai, the ultimate Kaioshin, he grabs Oob and says, just trust me, and Oob unleashes all his unleashed power, and it powers up Son Goku into that Susasu no Goku and Ultra Instinct, and he's able to use that to defeat Beerus. Not Beerus, he's able to use that to defeat Moro. I was like, oh, let's go! I remember I was like marking out, as they say in pro wrestling. I was like cheering when I first read that, and now it made so much sense. I'm like, okay, he has all this latent power in him, and if it gave him the power he needed to defeat Beerus, I don't know why I'm thinking of Beerus, it gave him the power to defeat Moro. I'm like, now it makes more sense. So now we understand why, despite all the tough opponents Goku faced all throughout Dragon Ball Super, it's when he faces Oob, he felt the power of what Oob could do, just a little bit of it, and it's like, no wonder why. And like, because I was like, Goku in his base form, he's got to be on a whole other level, and he was. So he's on a whole other level basically now when he's facing Oob and everything, and so now we know just how strong Oob is. It just tied everything beautifully back into the series, and that's one of the reasons why I was such a big lover of the franchise, and I think it's gonna slap. A lot of people are gonna really love this arc is gonna really show so much of what Dragon Ball Super is about. It is, just like I said at the beginning of this stream, it's unfortunate that Kozo Shihoya will not be around to do the Majin Buu voice acting when Buu has such a big role in this, but yeah, I can't say enough good things about this arc. Really loving it, can't wait to see it. All right. Keep my voice up over here. We're gonna get to the next. Get my thoughts here on the Battle Gods. Well, yeah, I should say yeah. But hopefully they bring Shintani. They not Shintani. They bring Sumitomo back for the music. And they keep that Ultra Instinct music in there. I was also watching. Let's see. What was the NFL player? Was it? I think his name was. Is his name Mike Daniels? Let me see. Mike Daniels. I think his name is. Yeah, NFL player Mike Daniels. 'Cause I don't really watch NFL and much sports like that. I'm mostly just WWE and a casual UFC guy. But yeah, Mike Daniels and Geekdom 101. I recently had just watched a live stream they did, and I agree with what Geekdom 101 said. There is that they need to keep that Ultra Instinct theme in there. So definitely, I hope they're just adding on to the music and stuff like that. Now then, when it comes to Dragon Ball Super Beerus, obviously, visually, like I said, it looks phenomenal. And one of the things is, initially, like, I wasn't hyped because I'm like, okay, it looks like just a prettier version of Battle of Gods. I'm like, you know what? I'm not really that hype. And I said, the first second I see of something being dragged out, I'm out. Ebob3, hey, thanks for joining the chat. Hi to you. I said I'm out. I'm like the first chance I see that they are up here and yeah, the first chance I see that they are up here going away from the series and stuff like that, that they are we're basically gonna drag it out with like a bunch of episodes, like I think like 16 episodes or something. I'm out. I don't got time, especially when Battle of Gods is already out there. And I would always tell people too, like if they're starting Dragon Ball Super, I say skip the first 15 or 30 episodes or whatever of Dragon Ball Super, skip it all. Watch the movies, watch Battle of Gods, watch Fakatsu no F, aka Resurrection F. Watch those two movies, and you've seen everything you need to see. And then there you go, and watch and get right to the Xenoverse 6 arc and stuff. Because I'm like, watching this is kind of a waste of time. It didn't really add too many things I think that was that important. So yeah, but thankfully, apparently this is going to be like 8 episodes. So I'm like, okay, I can make it. And it's like, they're really cutting down all the fluff. And yeah, I mean, the Battle of Gods arc had some good moments in there. It definitely, it had some good moments where it was had some slice of life moments, so I think that was fantastic. And there's actually, I think someone made a super cut version is what it's called, where they took the best moments of Battle of Gods the movie and the best moments of Dragon Ball Super the anime, and they kind of cut in some of the best moments. Like I said, I actually thought Vegeta's rage out moment, my Bulma, I actually thought that moment was better in the anime than it was in the movie, because the fight was longer and stuff. They made Vegeta look like he really lost his mind, with the whole the way he was yelling and everything. So I actually think that was really a nice add-on, and it looks like they're keeping it. So I'm very interested to see where they're gonna go with it. And that's not to say some of the slice of life stuff, like I said, it was pretty good. Like, I don't need to see Goten and Trunks with being chased by a giant snake. You can keep that. But I thought, like, especially in the dub with Sean Schimmel, another one of his great performances, when he pretends like he gets knocked out by Mr. Satan, and he's all like, oh, I forgot my tractor. Like, I thought that was hilarious, man. So some of that stuff I wouldn't mind them keeping and everything. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. So it does sound like it's going to be longer runtime wise than Battle of Gods. But I think my biggest thing with this is I hope this ends up being the definitive way to watch it. Like, when people are wanting to check out Dragon Ball Super and they haven't done it, I hope that I can be like, you know what? Just watch Dragon Ball Super Beerus. That is the definitive way to watch it and everything. I hope that I can say that. I hope this is the definitive way to watch it, because this is honestly the 4th time I believe this story is being told. We've had it in the movie Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, which was in 2013. Then in 2015, they came out with the Dragon Ball Super anime version, and they also had a version that was released, I think, in the manga. I think it was basically released as a quick promotional tie-in to the original movie that was made by Toyotaro, and I think that was like an even a shorter version, more compact version than what they might be doing here in the upcoming anime enhanced remake version. So there's that. And now we're gonna have Dragon Ball Super Beerus, so that's the fourth one in 2026. So you got 4 ways to watch this. Maybe I'll make a video where I rank them all and everything. So, and then when I do that Dragon Ball manga, if I can do the live streams for reading the manga, I guess I can react to the Battle of Gods manga version. So yeah, but the idea here, from what's been explained, this is not a remake, a straight remake and everything. It is going to be a more enhanced version to make it more closer to Toriyama's original vision, and so that's what they're going to do, and they're going to add new and expanded scenes. They're going to be pulled straight from his outlines, because for those that are not aware, the way Dragon Ball Super was constructed, it wasn't Akira Toriyama sat down, did a whole bunch of character designs and did a whole bunch of notes and like wrote the stuff script for script and then handed it into Toei Animation and Toyotaro to do the rest from there. No, he actually just made little random manual scripts, and I don't even think Battle of Gods was Toriyama's idea. He just got involved, and then that's kind of where he got more into it. Just like Dragon Ball Daimao wasn't Toriyama's idea. He got more involved and got more involved than he ever did. Like, he was actually looking at the episode pilots, he was getting involved in the chapter with the writing and everything. So yeah, and that's kind of what happened here with Battle of Gods. So they're going to take his manual scripts or little mini outlines that he did and basically make it into the movie. So how much of the manga and the anime are going to coincide with one another, it'll be very interesting to see. But yeah, this is supposed to be the definitive way there's going to be truer to Toriyama's design. And as mentioned, that Battle of Gods anime did have a lot of issues, like episode 5 with the visual structure of things. So this one, like I said, it looks phenomenal, and knowing it's only 8 episodes, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I definitely think overall I am looking forward to see how this goes. I mean, 8 episodes is gonna be bad, but yeah, ain't no way I was gonna probably subject myself to sitting through 15-20 something episodes of filler stuff when I'm like, okay, I can watch Battle of Gods movie and be done with it. So yeah. So, now that I have covered everything as far as the new Dragon Ball announcements, this is where I thought it would be a good time in the stream to actually go ahead and look back on things, basically being that, hey, you know what? What's going on here is that we have got Dragon Ball Super is officially being remade, or enhanced as they call it. So they're probably going to run through, and the rumor going around is that the Battle of Gods arc, aka Dragon Ball Super Beerus, that's done. They got all that done. They're just putting the finishing touches on like all the promotions and stuff, and that's ready to go and launch in September. And that we're going to get Fakatsu no F. And I'm not sure if it's one of those things, because if it's only going to be like 8 episodes long for Battle of Gods, then Fakatsu no F arc, which is probably going to be basically Dragon Ball Super Frieza, I think that's how they're going to do it. If they're doing that, if that's exactly how they're going to sort of structure everything, then they might go through all of Dragon Ball Super, and by the time we get to maybe the end of 2027, that's when we get to the Beerus, that's when we get to the Moro arc, Galactic Patrol. And it makes me think like, oh, they're probably going to run through some of these things quick. So I thought it'd be a good idea, and I want to hear you guys in the chat live. I want to hear you guys in the comments. I want to know what things you would like to see as far as things go. So yeah, I really got too much complaints about Battle of Gods, because like I said, I thought the way that movie was constructed was phenomenal. I loved the movie when it came in. It just felt so different than all the other Dragon Ball stuff that we've had, and so I'm looking forward. But Resurrection F, oh boy, if there's anything in Dragon Ball Super that needs a remake more than anything else, it's definitely this arc. Both from a visual standpoint in terms of the anime, and I dare say a narrative standpoint. And this is the part where, okay, I know they're doing this to honor Akira Toriyama's legacy, and I know they want to stay true to his vision, but you kind of get into this spot of where do we go here? How do you draw that line between change in terms of keep it the way it is to honor the creator, or hey, we change things up narratively to create a better overall story and thus run the risk of not honoring the creator, because we got to admit that not everything the creator came up with was exactly the best. And I think that's how a lot of people felt about Resurrection F. So let's talk about it here in terms of like the film, the animation, and the tremendous. I think Resurrection F from an animation standpoint is actually really good. I recently did last year rewatch a couple of years ago actually watched Goku versus Frieza, the rematch, Super Saiyan Blue, aka Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. I did watch that against Golden Frieza, and when I watched that fight, because it was for an upcoming in-person Goku podcast that hopefully that'll see the light of day either late 2026 2027, and I was like, the animation's pretty good. The animation was actually pretty good. Even the 3D animation, I know at the time they hadn't perfected it compared to Dragon Ball Superhero, but I thought was a little bit better than what we got in Battle of the Gods. Yeah, I thought this was good. The fight was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Resurrection F, the theme song they used. Frieza, 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 Frieza. Oh, yeah, man, I thought that stuff was good. So visually, I think that was fine. It was the anime that I was like, oh man, the animation was just episode 5 was something in the animation, and then it's like they got further down. Once again, shout out, God bless all the animators, because they were very talented individuals who were put in a very tough situation, and it made it look like, 3-year-olds were animating that, honestly, and it was a disservice to the animators' talents. It was a disservice to the fan base that had been loyal and supportive. It was a disservice to Akira Toriyama, because Toriyama was even complaining to the animation staff about the quality of the animation. That's how you know things were really not looking good for this. So yeah, I expect this will have phenomenal animation, but when you get past the animation, I think there's a lot of narrative decisions. I never could buy Sorbet, as you guys see him over Frieza's shoulder. I never brought the whole Sorbet could shoot Goku in Super Saiyan Blue and he's off guard. Like, even Goku had enough energy where I felt like that little ki blast wouldn't bounce off him and stuff. So if they get rid of that and come up with a better way, I would love to see that in this enhanced version. Now, this is probably too much asking for, and y'all probably know this because this definitely was not in Toriyama's notes. When I did find out they were going to do Dragon Ball Resurrection F as part of the anime, I'm like, okay, there's some things that I would actually love to see improve. Like, I think give Vegeta the win. It wouldn't hurt. Let Vegeta get the win. And even more in hindsight, since Frieza comes back anyway, having Vegeta get the win definitely wouldn't mess up anything continuity-wise later on. So I was like, yeah, give Vegeta the win. So I was hoping that when Goku comes back and goes for that final Kamehameha that takes out Frieza, Vegeta would get in and be like, no, Kakarot, you're not stealing the spotlight. He's mine. Final Flash. And Frieza's like, damn you, Vegeta. And Vegeta gets the big win. Well, that's not what they did. They stuck to their guns and they did that, which tells me they're probably going to do the same thing in Dragon Ball Super Frieza. But yeah, I would love to see Vegeta get the win there. And all that stuff. But yeah, the Goku, the hard thing, the sneak attack from Sorbet, and like, why didn't Sorbet just shoot him? I can do with that. So I would love to see that not put in there if we're gonna improve it. Definitely we don't need that Captain Ginyu moment where Captain Ginyu was there. Yeah. Another thing, oh my gosh, they made, and shout out to my boy Linux who was probably happy about this. If we're enhancing Resurrection F, can we enhance Gohan not being so scrawny and basically easily succumbing to Frieza. Didn't they like remake it in the anime where Piccolo sacrifices himself again for Gohan? I think Gohan dies or Piccolo dies again and they gotta resurrect him, like, and none of that was in the movie, so I'm like, we don't need that. So hopefully they'll do better with that and everything. But yeah, Resurrection F is a good example of what Toriyama's basic outlines was for most of Dragon Ball Super. I think it was something along the lines of, he basically said, all right, Frieza will go Golden, Goku will go Super Saiyan, God Super Saiyan. They'll both have a fight. Hopefully the animators do a good job of animating it. And that was it. So he really left a lot to be open in there. And the animators, I thought, like I said, they did a good job. But in the anime, oh man. Yeah, I watched that anime version of Resurrection F in Japanese with the English subtitles before it came out to America. But when it came to America, I did not even bother with it. Till this day, as you can see on the screen, April 2nd, 2026, for this live stream, I have not watched the Resurrection F arc in English dub. And you know, I think Damon Mills is fantastic. He's come a long way just from starting on YouTube. I think he was Lord Creavos. One of my friends at the time, he was going by the name Cell Dubber, and Linux, who's also been on my channel, on my Dragon Ball content. We had a conversation once with him on Spike, on Skype. Yeah, Skype, as we were talking earlier. Yeah, we once had a conversation with Skype. So yeah, that man is tremendous talent, and he's come a long way to get in the position where he is in there. And at the time, shout out to the late great Christopher Aries that played Frieza. The health issues were really starting to catch up with him at the time, and he couldn't fulfill playing Frieza full time, and that's where Damon Mills stepped in. And I think he was mentored by Christopher Aries, and Damon Mills, that's kind of where he got his start as Frieza, and I'm pretty sure he did a phenomenal job. But man, even Damon Mills, as phenomenal as I'm pretty sure he was as Frieza, I just could not take myself to wait a whole another week. It feels like such a long time going week to week, waiting for Resurrection F, and ended up being a whole year. And I'm like, let's just get to the next arc. Like, I want to see what happens next. Why are we doing this whole Dragon Ball Super thing? So yeah, that was something right there. So yeah, I haven't even watched that, and the only reason I do own every episode of Dragon Ball Super, because they came out with this version that had the anime to it. They had this version of the anime to it, and the thing about the anime version was you could own all episodes. It was the least expensive way to purchase the entire series, because I do collect as much Dragon Ball as I can, and so I figured, okay, these first two volumes come with it. I'm not gonna watch them, but at least I can own the rest of the Dragon Ball Super collection. So I brought it, the Steel series and the Steel Case collector series. I brought that for it. But yeah, I still haven't gone ahead and watched it, even though I brought it and owned it. So yeah, the English dub. Man, it's just so much, man. I think I even remember watching it with my stepfather, and we didn't watch the first year of Dragon Ball Super because I'd like, there's no need to watch it. You've already seen what you needed in Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. And like I said, I always just talked about, the thing is, in Battle of Gods, we got in Battle of Gods, the two things that I thought stood out was explaining the power scaling of Goku and Beerus when they collide their fence, and how it could destroy the entire universe, but they were staying in control. That wasn't in the anime, in the movie, so I like that. And I like the Vegeta battle against Beerus being longer, but there wasn't much. Resurrection F, I don't even think I remember anything. I think the stuff they added, I thought they could have kept, so I didn't need that. I think we got Gotenks a little bit interaction with Frieza, maybe in the movie, like, yeah. So if anything, structurally, I think this will end up being a lot better in the anime. But yeah, I would love to see some more narrative choices change, but I doubt they're gonna do that. So yeah, that's pretty much my thought. Definitely let me know what you guys think in the comment section as far as seeing Resurrection F enhanced. It'll most likely be Dragon Ball Super. I guess this is not working. I tried to put a poll up in the chat, but it just seems to be stuck there for whatever reason. I was going to ask you guys, but I guess you just have to let me know in the comment section if you would like to rather see Vegeta be the one to defeat Son Goku. Or no, excuse me. My poll was supposed to be, would you rather see Vegeta be the one in this enhanced version of Dragon Ball Super's Resurrection F arc, him, Vegeta, be the one to defeat Frieza instead of Son Goku? Like I said, I think you literally could have it, and it doesn't. Frieza's coming back anyway for the Tournament of Power, so you literally could let Vegeta get this one W. Yeah, if Goku doesn't get the win, he's got the most famous defeat of Frieza ever. You know, when Frieza, you know, says, "You will die by my hand," and Goku says, "You fool!" Like, okay, yeah, I understood it. In Resurrection F, they wanted him to kill him, but it wanted Goku to finally get the big W in terms of killing him, not just defeating him. But yeah, I remember there were so many jokes going on around the time people were calling the Toriyama was like, haha, Goku wins. Oh man. But yeah, now we move on to the next portion of this stream for the Universe 6 arc. Okay, so this is the part where the manga and the anime really started diverging from one another. So I think it was around the time Vegeta had the fight with the Winnie the Pooh looking color scheme bear. I forget his name, but I think it was around that fight that the anime actually started exceeding the manga, because at that point it was catching up. The anime was catching up to the manga, but it exceeded the anime at that point. And I remember I was reading the manga. I was reading the manga to this because I'm like, oh, okay, you know, it's easy. I mean, you're getting new material in the manga versus getting these lengthy retellings of Resurrection F and Battle of Gods, and they're not even better than the movies. So it's like, why? Like, the manga's where it's at. And when the anime finally exceeded that, I stopped reading the manga. And this is where you start to see a lot of the big differences from there. So with the Universe 6 arc, one of the biggest differences I know is when Hit is fighting Goku, and you actually get to see the Super Saiyan God form. And I think Vegeta also goes Super Saiyan God for the first time in this arc. So when you have the Super Saiyan God form being used for the first time with known as Super Saiyan in the dub, of course, Super Saiyan God, that is, in the dub, that was really cool because it let us know that, okay, Vegeta can go Super Saiyan God, but you don't see Super Saiyan God until he goes to the form in Dragon Ball Super Broly as Super Saiyan God there. Oh man, and that was the thing where a lot of people, I know one of my besties, Rebecca Lilly, she was telling me, it's like, oh, I didn't know Vegeta could go that form. I'm like, well, it's in the manga, not in the anime. So that's one of some of the differences I was aware about, even though I haven't read all the manga. And this is another thing. I thought Universe 6 arc as a whole, from what I saw in the anime, I thought was one of the best arcs in Dragon Ball Super. It was one that I thought was really well told. There weren't a lot of issues that contradicted things and stuff, and overall it was just good to finally get some new material, because that's what I wanted to see. We were getting some exploration on seeing these new characters, seeing these new forms. So I was really, really stoked to finally see that. And that's basically what they did. They didn't they went in that direction. I think I would have been, like I was saying earlier, in fact, with Sparking Zero, honestly, I would have been fine if they would have waited a whole year to prep this and made this in 2016, if they would have just made this the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, because guess what? I end up telling anybody that watches Dragon Ball Super to start here anyway. I watch the movies, Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, and then just go right here, because those other first 30-something episodes, yeah. But yeah, that's what they ended up doing here, and I thought, honestly, Dragon Ball, with what ended up happening with this arc, this was really good. And this is where we kind of get into some things where I was talking about, narratively speaking, do you want to honor the creator's original vision, Or do you want to derail from the creator's vision if there is an opportunity to tell a story better for the fan base? Exhibit A, I put Frost in here. And I mean, this is not going to make or break the story, but I remember one of the best things about Frost at the time, and a lot of Dragon Ball fans were really hyped about this, was the fact that Frost was essentially, okay, he looks like Frieza, but what makes him different? What makes him stand out from the Emperor of the Universe? And it's that he's a good version of Frieza. And it's like, oh, okay, that was a nice welcome twist. It was really good. And then we find out he's just some sleazy, cheating, slime bag scumbag. Slimy scumbag. And it's like, oh, okay, so he's evil. And he's just a more evil, cowardly version of Frieza. And now he doesn't stand out because he's just going to be seen as a ripoff. You know, actually keeping Frost as a good guy, as opposed in this more enhanced version, as opposed to making him just basically Frieza light, it might be worth it. Now, you know, that it might be worth it, but that's not a make or break thing. But something that I think is going to be something that a lot of fans, and myself included, makes me go like, whoa, hold on now. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Not everything has to be changed to try and make it closer to Toriyama's vision. And that's my whole thing about, as I was mentioning with the Sparking Zero stuff earlier, is that just because a filler or movie character wasn't made by Toriyama doesn't mean it's not fun as a Dragon Ball fan. There's a lot of stuff that Toriyama, just like, it doesn't have, to me in Dragon Ball, it doesn't have to come from Toriyama's mind in order to be something that really makes it, it doesn't have to come from Toriyama's mind in order for me to be like, I'll enjoy it. And one of the things that was not in Toriyama Akira's original draft scripts when it came to the Universe 6 arc was Super Saiyajin Blue Kaioken Son Goku. That was arguably one of the most hype moments in Dragon Ball Super, when Goku was Super Saiyan Blue and he was like, Kaioken! And we saw that red aura take over the blue aura. It's like, oh, I remember the hype. It was so awesome. It was well animated. The music was fire. Everything about that moment was fire. That's one of those things that when I say Dragon Ball Super, it had its highs and its lows, and I thought the lows were pretty low for the series, but when it got high, some of those highs reached even higher cases than Dragon Ball Z. Like, as awesome as a lot of the Kaioken moments was from Goku and Dragon Ball, I'm like, I might have to put Dragon Ball Super's Kaioken moment right up there. So it's one of those things like, man, that was not in Toriyama's original drafts. Does that mean, his basic outline drafts? Does that mean we're going to be in a situation where they're not going to have that? I mean, it's all over in the game. So it's a big marketing thing that, a lot of people like. It's had tons of action figures. It's one of the coolest moments of Goku. And they even worked it nicely into the story, talking about how I think the problem is the reason why that filler where he does SS1 and Kaioken, because Kaioken constantly, if I remember correctly, it pushes Son Goku's bodies past its limits. That's why he was told not to go beyond Kaioken times 2. 3 pretty much wrecked Goku's body, and 4 dang near made Goku's body unusable. Like when Yajirobe comes and smacks him on the shoulder and Goku's like, like, yeah, that's how much Kaioken took out of him. So when you got SS1, which is like, I think a 50 times multiplier or something like that from what I heard, people who power scale Dragon Ball will be much better at answering that question, but I'm just thinking up here right now off the top of my head. The thing about that is when the Kaioken gets so strong on that level of power, man, that would destroy Goku's body. It's already taking enough to learn how to control SS1, which eventually they did. They were able to use Goku's SS1, and during the Cell Saga, he was able to get it to where it feels natural. So maybe he could have used Kaioken against Cell, but SS2 takes more, and then 3 especially is a huge energy drainer. So with Super Saiyan Blue, they explained that I think it's basically it's able to use the stamina a lot more better, like stamina a lot more better, and as a result of that, it doesn't drain as much, and so Goku's able to stack Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan Blue. So it's explained well in the Universe 6 arc. It's a cool epic moment. It was one of the highlights of that battle that made Goku versus Hit great, but it wasn't in Toriyama's notes. So does it end up in Dragon Ball Super? I would love to see that kept. Just because it wasn't in Toriyama's notes, I say, hey, keep it. Why not? So we got to see. But it's also another thing. That's why when you get to Dragon Ball Super Broly, a lot of people were wondering, why didn't Goku use Kaioken with Super Saiyan Blue? Why didn't Vegeta break out Super Saiyan Blue Evolution? Because these weren't concepts made by Akira Toriyama. And that's in Dragon Ball Super Broly pretty much followed closely to Toriyama's script. So yeah, I don't know. We might have to say goodbye to that epic moment and how they end up using that, because it's such a big part in the game. Like, that's such a big, huge part of Goku's super version in the game, is using Kaioken and stacking it on top of Super Saiyan Blue. Like, I think the Kamehameha when he goes Super Saiyan Blue is one of the most gorgeous things we've seen. So it'd be interesting. But I did like this arc a lot too, and I never really got a chance to talk about these arcs too, because I wasn't reviewing them at the time. But yeah, this is actually one of my favorite arcs in all of Dragon Ball Super. And I like, was it Manaka, I think, is at the end. I like the end, how Goku and Hit realized they were being played by the gods, Champa and Beerus, and so they basically said, okay, we'll let Manaka win so we don't fall into their whole game and stuff. And I think we got the whole Super Dragon Ball stuff. So yeah, I like this arc a lot. So yeah, let me know in the chats if you guys want to. What would you guys? Let me know in the chat if you guys would love to see this, and let me know in the comments as well if you would like to see Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken maintain in the enhanced version of Universe 6 arc. I don't know what they're gonna call it. They call it Dragon Ball Super Hit or Dragon Ball Super Champa. Maybe just Universe 6 fits. Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention too. Because I know why that's a massive moment. The Kaioken times Super Saiyan Blue, Kaba or Kaba, however you say his name, was Toriyama created, but Kel and Khalifa, in the Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan form, that was all created by Toyotaro, which we'll get more to that later. And that ties into the Broly stuff later. But yeah, how Kel and Khalifa factor in as well, not being Toriyama creations, but they are in the manga. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they may be used differently versus the anime version versus here when they do that. All right, the Future Trunks / Goku Black / Zamasu arc, which I'm guessing they're gonna just call this Dragon Ball Super Trunks. Once again, this is the part where looking at the creator's vision and from a narrative and visual standpoint, the Goku Black arc is where Dragon Ball Super, I really feel, started music wise and visually wise, really hitting on all cylinders. As I mentioned, I put over Sumitomo's music. He was on fire with this arc. The Goku Black arc music, the way this whole arc opened up, good stuff. If they're gonna go ahead and remake this and everything, so that was on fire. The animation was good. Like, this is where I think, like I said, Shida came in with that amazing banging animation of Goku versus Goku Black and Zamasu. So animation was firing, the music was firing, heck, even the way this arc started out was fire. So there was a lot of really good stuff working here. This is when they started doing a lot better animation schedule with the Resurrection F arc. I mean, not with the Goku, with this portion of Dragon Ball Super given to Goku Black. But the thing that I have to wonder is, narratively speaking, there's some big narrative issues. when it comes to this. And from what I've heard, because I haven't read the manga, but I'm aware of a lot of the key details, the general fan consensus in the manga of this is that it's stronger in the manga despite some issues. So like there's the thing, like Super Saiyan Rage for Trunks, which I felt was they ended up doing like a in the manga to just a powered up version of his Super Saiyan 2 form. And then there's Goku unlocking a new Super Saiyan Blue form that lets him do the Hakai energy, and Zamasu towards the end, he's multiplying into like a massive army instead of the anime's fusion path that they ended up doing. And I also even heard the SS3 Goku and Trunks fight, like that's more grounded in the manga, but the ending of course stays the same with that, with Trunks and Mai heading to a new timeline where they got counterparts and stuff, which is still one of the most controversial moments. Like I took a whole snippet from my Dragon Ball Sparking Zero live stream and made my whole issue with this whole arc and everything, and the issue around that, the way that story ended. The manga has some really good stuff there. So when we look and dissect this, yeah, the arc is more grounded with SS3 Goku versus Trunks, SS2 Trunks or something and stuff. So implementing that from the manga into this enhanced version for the anime, I think is definitely a good desire. Keep the intro though, the way it started off with Goku Black killing Bulma, aka Bluma, man, that should stay. That definitely should stay. But from a narrative standpoint, and I talked about this, it was really hard to follow the Zero Mortals plan and what exactly they were trying to do. I'll say keep this in here. I thought it was freaking hilarious when when Zamasu he feels that humanity or just the mortals will not do better, and he uses the time machine because he didn't like how these dinosaur humanoid creatures were beating each other up with their fists and everything and stuff like that. And then he fast forwards, like I think it was 1,000 or 10,000 years in the future, and they only evolved to realize instead of beating each other up with our fists, we could take these big clubs and bang each other upside the head with it. That was hilarious. I don't know if they're going to keep that in this enhanced version of Dragon Ball Super for Goku Black, but whatever. Okay, they might take it out. It's not important, but something that is rather important is the Zero Moral plans. So my a lot of things that I said was that I said it in my my Dragon Ball Sparking Zero playthrough when I was playing the Goku Black arc. The thing in there is that it was hard because you see it through Super Buu and Kid Buu. They're talking about erasing all mortals and building a new utopia and stuff. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, while you all are up here having tea and crumpets, do what Super Buu did. If you want to just get rid of humanity but maintain the planets and all that stuff, then do what Super Buu did. Do that human extinction attack and wipe everybody out in one and just one shot. Because if Super Buu, who's far infinitely weaker than Goku Black and Zamasu, then go ahead and do that. But that's not what they did. So, they're also talking about, they want to destroy everything, I guess. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, in that case, do what Kid Buu did. Form a death ball of destruction, as I call it. Go like Kid Buu, yeah, and blow up the entire planet. But they don't. And it's weird. They're just sitting around in some sort of home, chilling, having tea and crumpets or whatever, and Mai is able to hold them off with a shotgun or a rifle, and Trunks, like you guys see there, and I'm like, there's probably barely anybody left on that planet, and stuff. I'm like, what are y'all waiting for? What do you do? Like, clearly these two have the ability to wipe out everybody on the planet. Clearly they have the ability to destroy the planet. So what exactly are you trying to do with the Zero Mortals plan? And it was just really hard. And then to understand where they were coming from, and then the constant going back and forth. Goku and Vegeta, they go back, get their butts kicked, go back to the present. They come back again, get their butts kicked, go back to the present. Maybe we should train, go back there and get our butts kicked. They come back, okay, let's use the Mafuba, aka the electronic jar, and do the evil containment wave. Oh, well, Goku's like, I forgot it. And I'm like, oh, you idiots. And, Vegeta was like, oh, you idiot, why am I not surprised? And I'm like, I'm like they couldn't have come up with any more creative ways to make it where Goku Black and Zamasu are a threat to Goku and Vegeta. It's like it just felt like they were dragging their feet with it so much in the anime, and I'm guessing maybe it's not. It's more. It's not like that in the manga, so I'll look forward to reading that. But it's like, yeah, it's like I'm just sitting here watching it in the anime, and it's like, all right, Goku and Vegeta just keep getting their butts kicked before they decide to finally go in the Room of Spirit and Time, aka the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, and actually train. And the only reason why the planet's not in danger is because Goku, Black, and Zamasu are not obviously taking this serious enough. They could wipe everyone out on the planet. They could destroy the entire planet. They don't. So, if anything, and like I said, we don't know how much of this with Toriyama was involved with or not, because he only gave them very basic outlines. There needs to be much better structure to this, definitely, from a narrative standpoint. And then another big epic moment, and a lot of people will probably say, change those future the Patara earring fusion retcon. I personally say keep it. I did a whole nother video talking about why I like it from my Sparking Zero live streams. I love the fact that we finally got clarity on why Vegito split inside of Super Boot when he was inside of Super Boo's bean and stuff and everything. So I like that. But I'm like, once again, Vegito was not in Toriyama's notes. We do know that. That was an anime exclusive because they wanted to really capitalize on the attention and the hype, and it definitely was hype when Vegito got there. But even the way they did the design just kind of felt sort of like a lazy in a sense, because they just recycled Vegeta's old armor of old design, which would have made sense because Vegeta was wearing the blue more martial arts clothes. Goku was wearing the orange gi, and so they just basically made the orange gi and flip and inverse the colors like blue and orange. So it made sense why Vegito had that in the manga. That totally, absolutely made sense. But then it's like when they got to the Super, why didn't they take the time to make the design? It's like it's last minute. Let's just add Vegito in there. We'll just redesign the same, recycle the same design and make it blue. I would have loved it if you could have kept the bottom half, keep his pants the same, but instead give him the armor. That would have looked awesome. The armor on Vegito, and then I'm like, boom, that would have been great because that's what the Pataro earring fusion is supposed to be, like a fusion of both clothes, I guess. I mean, I guess it wouldn't that way with the Elder Kyle Shin and the witch that he fused with, but it is what it is there. So yeah, stuff like that needs to be changed. No explanation for the Super Saiyan Rage form. Get that out of there. We don't need that. And I thought it would have, if they would have just, because that's the thing, this whole arc, in the anime at least, lacked a lot of explanation. If they would have added that on, it would have been good, because it's like, okay, is this Super Saiyan in blue? It looks like the blue aura, or is it Super Saiyan 2? I think if they would have maybe done some explanations of Vegeta being Super Saiyan blue, and all that stuff and everything, I think if they would have done some explanations of that, I think it would have been better. Like, the idea is that, okay, Trunks is a hybrid Saiyajin, and so when he tries to unleash the God Ki, he can't fully go there. So he only gets about half the power and half the Super Saiyan 2 power, but they didn't even explain it. It was just rage, and they never explained it. We had to find out until it was announced in marketing material that it's going to be called Super Saiyan Rage, and then they don't explain the sword and the Genki Dama and Spirit Bomb. Like, when did he learn it? Maybe if they would have done some explanation that Goku taught him, like, just so much that was not explained. Heck, I would have loved to have seen Goku, the story of Trunks against Babidi and Dabuda, aka Dabura, and how the Supreme Kai, aka the East Kyle Shin, helped him out there. But I think they go more in detail on that in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, so I'm looking forward to playing that. So yeah, there was just so much that made this arc hard. Like, I was like, I should have been getting hype, but it was explaining, and I said what I said. It felt like the Future Trunks arc, they just added a bunch of stuff that made you go, wow, cool, and just check your brain at the door, and you'll just be like, cool. But then when you start trying to dissect this stuff, it's like, how's this making sense? Like, man, you know, and not everything has to be that deep in Dragon Ball, but come on, a little explanation on some of this stuff. And then, of course, the ending with Zeno. Oh man, yeah, that needs to go. But it was in the manga apparently, because having Zeno wipe out the entire multiverse, like it's cool to know that okay, that's how strong Zeno is, and that he's stronger than the entire, and it's something that I think could have been stated just so that we know he has the ability to do it. But that just ending came out like, okay, so no matter how bad it gets, and it got as bad as it could possibly get with Zamasu's body getting destroyed, but his immortal essence taking over the entire multiverse, well, just push your Zeno button. Zeno's got you. I got you, my dog. Goku's like, hey, you got a favor for me, dog? And he goes like, I got a favor. Oh, I can't even do Zeno's voice. I got a favor for you, dog. And then he erases everything. Yeah, it just took all, and thankfully all the stuff that followed afterwards, the Dragon Team, aka the Z Fighters, won on their own. But man, that was such a whole thing of realizing, so it can get as worse as it can get, and Zeno can just save the day, and that just wiped out all the tension that we needed. So yeah, as y'all could tell, man, the Goku Black Zamasu arc, Future Trunks arc, whatever you want to call it, had a lot of issues, and I would love to see those taken care of. But I think they're going to probably they're probably going to just follow more of what the manga did. Yeah, I would love to see SS Blue doing that Hakai part. That would be cool. Oh yeah, Trunks and Mai got to go to another timeline where they're okay with existing with another Trunks and Mai. Like I would have seen maybe do something that factors into Dragon Ball Super, or what happened in the Dragon Ball Online, where they made Trunks meet the Supreme Kai of time, and he has to make up for his sins of time traveling that way and stuff by becoming a time patroller. So yeah, it's just so much wrong with that from a narrative standpoint. So it ain't the animation it really need to be as enhanced as so much it's the narrative of the story. And this goes tying into Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Those of you who have watched my Dragon Ball Sparking Zero live streams will know this too. I was thoroughly impressed and blown away by the Goku Black What If story and Gohan's story mode campaign for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero episode battle. I was like, whoa. And the way they tied it in, because I'm like, from an emotional standpoint, that actually makes a lot more sense. Tying Zamasu taking Gohan's body, and it means so much for Trunks to have to fight his mentor visually, but realizing that that's not his mentor inside, that is Zamasu. And the way they did the ending too, and I think it was in Trunks' What If story as well, but these Goku Black What If, Zamasu What If stories, they actually have where Goku's incompetent about the Mufuba, and he does it in the evil containment way and all that stuff, and they actually kill Goku Black, and they trap Zamasu inside, seal him up, and I think Beerus and Whis or something takes him to, or the Supreme Kais, they take him to a place where none of the other gods will probably be able to get him, or he'll be under safekeeping. It's kind of like similar to how, if you guys follow Naruto Shippuden, second half of the Naruto manga, when Hiden is blown up into multiple bits and pieces and he's buried alive, and I guess he's sealed there forever, or whatever, or his remains are sealed there forever. Yeah, it was kind of like that, and I was like, I like it. I like that the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero writing staff actually came up with ways to improve the Goku Black arc and make it to where they didn't need Zeno. So heck, I would say even steal from some of the Sparking Zero stories for this enhanced version. But I'm guessing we're gonna get more, like I said, more of the manga version animated, which at least that does sound like it's better. But that ending, unfortunately, is sticking with us here. So yeah. Let me know in the chat or the comment section below what you guys would like to see in terms of an enhanced version of Dragon Ball Super Future Trunks arc. Now we get to the Tournament of Power arc. I am aware that the manga, in terms of if they're going to remake this or enhance it, I'm aware that the manga had some big differences in there and stuff like that. And the general consensus from what I heard from other fans and from other fans at the time is that because it was running alongside the manga and all the hype train and the internet crashing and breaking from all the Ultra Instinct moments and epic moments was completely being done by Dragon Ball Super in the Tournament of Power in terms of the anime version. It's the manga version where I guess people felt that Toyotaro maybe was just rushing through it and basically knowing that maybe he couldn't compete with the anime hype moments that were running alongside it. So he ended up basically kind of rushing it through it. Now, I'll have to read for myself when I get to that, but that's the general consensus of what I've heard about among fans. But there were some parts that people thought was cool and other parts that people didn't think was so much better. What I'll say about the Tournament of Power arc, it is the epitome of, I don't know if that's the word epitome, but it is exactly kind of what I always say about Dragon Ball Super. The lows are very low, but the highs are very high. And that's one of those things where, man, oh man, when it comes down to the Tournament of Power, there's so much fluff, a lot of fluff in this. And when you think of the anime, what are some of the big moments you think? You think about Frieza coming back and that epic setup they did for Frieza coming to Earth and Goku, the touching moment where Goku reenacts the fight with his father at Uranai Baba, aka Fortune Teller Baba's place. The thrill of who Frieza's going to, he's going to backstab anyone, or is he going to stay loyal to Universe 7? You think of all the cool moments of like Goku going Ultra Instinct Sai, the battle with Kefla going ahead and they even had the Broly ripoff moments with Kel, Goku doing that awesome surfing Kamehameha up Kel's entire energy wave and spinning around and hitting her with that awesome Kamehameha. You think of all the stuff they did with Jiren, the Anarazi stuff was pretty cool, and just the epic finale and the animation, the music, just how all the animators went all out on the big stuff that actually counted the most for the narrative standpoint of the Tournament of Power. Man, the big moments, it's like they're perfect. They're a masterpiece. Leave them as they are. And it based on what we've seen in battle in Dragon Ball Super Beerus, there are certain frames that they aren't touching from a redrawing standpoint. They're just enhancing the energy. So if they're doing that, fine. And oh yeah, you got to keep the music, keep Sumitomo's music in there. So yeah, you kind of realize like the first couple of arcs in Dragon Ball Super, yeah, they needed to be remade, but some of this stuff you didn't have to really touch and stuff like that. We can keep the Vegeta Super Saiyan evolution. Don't need that. Yeah, we don't need that. I think Vegeta finds like a bigger power Super Saiyan blue form in the show, or whatever, in the manga and everything. But let's go through some of the stuff that the manga actually did, and I think I would love to see in the enhanced version of the anime. So I know the manga, and I did actually go out of my way to read this when it happened. The manga had a full-on Gods Battle Royale where everyone, basically Beerus, and it made Beerus look like an actual threat, and everybody that I know loves this, and it was brutal, it was bloody, and this was cool. This is better than the events of the anime Xeno Expo, because in the anime, instead of doing the chaotic divine brawl, it's an expedition match. It's Universe 7 versus Universe 9. It was like a series of 3 one-on-one matches intended to introduce like the mortal level of the competition for Xenos. So you had like the Wolf Trio, Universe 9, I think they were the Trio de Dangers. It was Bezo versus the Fat Majin Buu, Lavender versus Son Gohan, Bergomo versus Son Goku, and then they had Son Goku versus Topo. And yeah, those were cool for what they were at the time in the anime, but seeing what Toyotaro did in the manga, yeah, that whole battle, that Gods Battle Royale was so much better. That was so much more phenomenal. So yeah, I really absolutely like that better. And then from there, I think we had the that's where and Majin Buu did get some shine, but then they get to the whole sleeping gag. So if they could come up with maybe a more enhanced, better way to write Fat Buu off and replace him with Frieza, I'd be totally down with that. And I'm glad they did replace Frieza, because Frieza in Tournament of Power totally made up for how he was utilized in Resurrection F. So that was a really good, cool moment. Now in the anime, in the manga, my understanding is it's Gohan versus Kel. And there's a controversial moment of Roshi, Master Roshi, aka Muten Roshi, doing Ultra Instinct and or teasing Ultra Instinct against Jiren, and he actually gives Jiren a little nice run for his money. And I understand that there were people that did not like that. Them using Roshi enough as it is in Tournament of Power after his retirement in OG Dragon Ball was quite something indeed. Like the way it was worked, like Roshi, if you look the way it was structured in OG Dragon Ball, Goku nearly defeated Roshi. He was that close, but Roshi made everything come down to just having longer limbs. And then he flat out gave up against Teen Shinha at the 22nd tournament, and he didn't even participate in the 23rd tournament, especially after he lost against Piccolo Daimao, and then he was pretty much on the bench for the rest of Dragon Ball Z second half of the manga. And then we get told that Roshi's been training and all that stuff, and I was like, okay, that was kind of hard to buy, but I'm like, alrighty. But now he attains Ultra Instinct and he's actually dodging Jiren. Like, yeah, that they can keep in the manga. So you had that, and now Gohan versus Kel. I don't know if it was as good as Goku Ultra Instinct Sai against Kel, and that's gonna be a big one, because do you really want to take away that epic Kamehameha? Of course, Toei Animation has to know how viral that moment went, or maybe they don't. I don't know, maybe because if you watch Geekdom 101, he was saying that they're just kind of now understanding how popular it is in the West. So I don't know if they were even for all that reaction stuff on there, but clearly I would say Akio Yoku, but he's in charge of Capsule Corporation Tokyo. Clearly, I would hope that anybody on the business side saw how viral that moment went, of so many people's reactions. I remember my mouth was dropped, like, oh, I was so shocked when Goku did that Ultra Instinct Sai Kamehameha. Doing stuff like that, man, stuff like that, you can't take that out. You gotta leave that in the anime. You got to. If that means Gohan and Kel get sacrificed, then so be it, because guess what? Gohan got his big moment in Dragon Ball Superhero, so I'm okay with that. And I wouldn't even say Gohan was utilized all that bad in the Tournament of Power, even in the anime version. So if they go that route, that's gonna be interesting to see there, in terms of how they deal with that. And then, yeah, Goku's mastered Ultra Instinct 17, clinching, getting the victory. Frieza's reward with Beerus. You had all that at the end. So yeah, I see this. I don't know, having not read the manga as of this live stream. I don't know if the finale was as good as the ending, because the way that was animated and how the animators went all out for that was phenomenal, and I think they should keep that. So yeah, how they're going to choose and pick, it's going to get harder as they progress in Dragon Ball Super past the Resurrection F arc, because like I said, you start getting into issues where animation's not a problem. It's not. The animation's not a problem. It's the narrative decisions for some of this stuff. But yeah, I definitely think the Goku, the Tournament of Power, can be chopped down some bits. I would have loved to seen more explanation, or more exploring the new characters and all these other characters we didn't get a chance to meet. But that kind of goes into like the whole filler thing, because I remember back in my anime class, I had something, my anime voice acting class that I had in college, my anime club that I had back in my college years. We had a big in-depth discussion about filler, and the general consensus was you had kind of half of the people in the club felt that filler is needed because it gives characters who are underutilized a chance to shine, but then the people that disliked it were coming back like, what's the point of giving characters shine if ultimately when you get back to the main story they're not going to mean anything at all, so it's a waste of time. And the general consensus, a lot of people, that the one thing that everybody did agree is when filler helps enhance or further explains something that wasn't elaborated too much on the manga and it gives you further elaboration, that is the best type of filler because it ends up meaning something in when you get back to the main story, which is what I think a lot of the Dragon Ball Z fillers did do and everything like that. So it's like, yeah, it would be cool to see it, but apparently as we see what happens afterwards, none of these characters end up getting utilized. Jiren didn't get utilized much at all, but you can best believe he's probably going to be back some point in the series. So yeah, would be interesting to see how they're going to choose that. So the Tournament of Power, I think honestly, all the stuff that was really well done, keep it, enhance it, do your further effect. That's just a thing. Even the animation of the Tournament of Power was fine. Like, yeah, keep all the good stuff and then cut out all the fluff pretty much when it comes to the Tournament of Power. So yeah, let me know, guys, in the comment section below, what would you like to see in terms of an enhanced version of Tournament of Power, especially if you actually read the manga and everything like that. All right, this is a masterpiece. It was about nearly as perfect as it can be. So you want to talk about Dragon Ball Super Remake. You want to talk about Dragon Ball Super enhancements. Ladies and gentlemen, this film does not need any enhancements. This movie is a blast. I said it back in 2019 when I first saw it, and I'm still saying it now here in 2026. The greatest Dragon Ball movie of all time. Man, like this is just, there's no reason. This is just, there's no reason to touch this. No reason at all. There's no reason to. I mean, the fact that they're bringing Norihito, was it Shintani? Is it yeah, Shintani, right? The fact that they're bringing yeah, the fact that they're bringing Norihito Norihito Shintani back. This movie, honestly, I think set the standard for animation for Dragon Ball moving forward, because when we saw how fluent the animation looked and how good, this is how fans felt. Okay, this is the definitive look. This is how Dragon Ball should look. Shintani had such a huge impact on the film, the look of this film, is that I think that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero's character models are basically designed off of his style. Like, wow, like, yeah, there's no reason to touch this. There's nothing to be enhanced, because, like I said, as you get higher, the quality of Dragon Ball Super's animation, it started going up further. So there's no need. There's no need at all to even touch this. No need at all. And so this is where I think it's not so much that it needs enhancement. However, if you want to talk about enhancing from a more elaboration standpoint, I think so, because I remember Toriyama apparently reportedly wrote about 3 hours worth of material. However, they needed the movie to be half that length, so I think they pushed it down to about 90 minutes or so, or close to it. It's still like the longest Dragon Ball movie, or a little bit over 100 minutes. It's still the longest Dragon Ball movie in history, but I think we can see clearly where things got trimmed, and it had to be Bardock's backstory, because the first 40 minutes of that was really good, and it just felt like they kind of rushed Bardock trying to take out Frieza and all that stuff, and I would have loved to see more of that story told. And so you are in an interesting position here now that they're enhancing Dragon Ball Super. You could make an anime version, take Toriyama's script, and let the world see that much more longer script that he had planned. Does it have any particular, I would say, any consequence on the story? Probably not. The fact that they trim that portion, the main stuff that happens once they get to the present timeline within the confines of the movie storytelling, that's where the real deal happens for Goku, Vegeta, and Broly. So I think realistically you can do that and be in a position where it's going to be like, okay, so Dragon Ball Super Broly, we're going to have it set, basically leave that alone, but we'll expand upon the Bardock storytelling. And a lot of people will probably say, get rid of Minus and just tell the OG version of the Bardock story. Do a enhanced version of that, which is kind of crazy. You think about OG fans have waited so long to have OG Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z animated, and I like Geekdom 101, who I think he made an awesome idea about how basically make it as just Dragon Ball and tell the definitive story of the manga from start to finish. I like that idea. But yeah, you could clearly see with the 40th anniversary, Dragon Ball Minus is considered the definitive way that Toriyama makes a story. And I think Toriyama even did an interview where he said the Bardock TV special, he loved it, but he could never make something that deep. But he still loved it enough to pay tribute to it in a panel of the manga, which was one of the rare times outside of this Broly movie where characters found themselves at the hands of Toriyama's pen, Broly and Gogeta including. But yeah, this was phenomenal. Like Toriyama, he was on fire in this because you could tell how motivated he was, and he made it, man. So yeah, I guess they could take the movie and break it up into parts, but there's no reason to touch this. Like I said, it's a masterpiece. If anything, just animate Toriyama's version, that the parts of Toriyama's script that weren't able to see the light of day, get that out there, and then you could just do like a recap episode. That's exactly what ends up happening in the Moro arc. The Galactic Patrol arc starts off with a recap of the Broly movie. So pretty much that's all you really got to do it there. But yeah, I got the least to say about this because, you know, like the old saying says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's pretty much describes about the idea of turning Dragon Ball Super Broly into some sort of enhancement. Let me know if you guys agree. I think you all will, though. Let me know if you agree in the comments, though. All right, we get to the final part of our analysis here as far as remakes. Dragon Ball Super Hero. And you know what? Just like Broly, another masterpiece. In fact, to me, it is the second greatest Dragon Ball movie of all time. I love this movie. I got issues with it and stuff, and you'll see more of in-depth when I had a lengthy, like I said, 3 to 4 hour podcast discussion that I recorded back in 2024 with my homies Rebecca, Lily, Lennox, and Kat, and we go in depth, like 3 to 4 hours of we go in depth 3 to 4 hours of this whole movie and stuff like that. So we broke that down in thorough detail, our issues, and still why the issues still was not enough to not make this a great movie. This movie is phenomenal. This is where they really mastered the CGI. I thought the CGI looked great in this movie compared where they started a decade prior. And this movie is so great. It's such a great blend of Toriyama's wonderful sense of humor and the action pack that he can bring. Gohan, Piccolo getting the shine. I love the new forms. It's very nostalgic. It's very nostalgia baity with Cell, Max, and all that stuff. But like I said, I won't go too in depth because that's what the whole Dragon Ball Superhero review. For the purposes of this video, though, it's talking about Dragon Ball Super, if that superhero, if it needs to be enhanced. And yeah, I mean, there is something different that can be said about this. The idea, and that I think that was the nice thing about the manga, is you got to see what these characters and moments look like in 2D. You could, hey, do the 3D characters animated in 2D. because this was kind of like an experiment that they did. And everything like that. But one of the things true though, because this was mostly I think in 2023 that the manga was running, and I honestly skipped out on it because I saw the movie, and Toyotaro for the most part, yeah, he stuck to the movie script that Toriyama wrote. So you, like I said, it's just basically a 2D version of the manga if you want to see the superhero. But I already knew what happened in the superhero movie, loved it, and I was just ready to see what happens next after superhero. So yeah, I guess they could make it, maybe they could with today's AI technology, especially by the time they get to this point in the story, from remaking Dragon Ball Super or enhancing it, you could always maybe throw 2D layers over the 3D, maybe use AI to animate the scenes in 2D. I guess they could do that, but yeah, my whole understanding was one of the reasons why they were experimenting with 3D is because there were definitely a lot of fighting scenes in that movie that you could not do 2D, as it would have been way too time consuming. And that's something that I think was interested. It goes into here. There's something I guess you could see if they want to do that, but obviously there is a bunch of prequel stuff that was made, and I think he even made a Toyotaro, which I haven't read yet. He made a prequel to the prequel stuff, so you can put that stuff in there. I know a lot of people and they are getting uncomfortable, and understandably so, because the Mai and Trunk stuff is getting borderline too much. They're just there, you know. It hasn't gotten to the point from what I've seen where Mai is giving in to Trunks, but at the end of the day, they're kind of pushing the boundaries there. And it's like, let's not forget, Mai here, even though she has a 17-year-old body, because she was aged backwards back when Trunks was first born, in the manga, which I don't think was explained in the, I mean, they explained it, I think, in the anime, but they don't show flashbacks of it. She's still a 40-something-year-old woman in a 17-year-old body. So yeah, that stuff's getting borderline, but that's prequel material that hasn't been animated. And then, of course, in the end with Toyotaro, there is the stuff that gets animated from there. Yeah, there's the stuff that he can animate towards there at the end, and I definitely think that needs to see the light of day. That needs to be animated, because that was Toriyama's final work. The final supervised work that he did, because that's the thing, the Moro Granola arc and superhero, the Moro and Granola arc was mostly written by Toyotaro, and Toriyama chimed in with supervision. And then superhero was mostly written, the movie portion, that was completely written by Toriyama. It's the prequel and the post stuff that happened after the movie portions that were animated, that was Toyotaro and supervised by Toriyama. So yeah, especially to that heartfelt goodbye moment. I think the last thing that Toriyama corrected, one of his last drawings that he may have made before he passed away, was Piccolo looking back at the camera and waving. Of course, Piccolo, I think, was Toriyama's favorite all-time Dragon Ball character. So there's that. We definitely need to get that animated. I think even if they did what they did at the end of Dragon Ball Daima, where you had the feather, because Toriyama's name is like bird, translates to like bird, and everything. Bird Mountain, I think. Having like a little feather come behind, flow behind Piccolo as he says goodbye. I think they definitely need to make the most of that shot. And let's not forget, superhero, it gives us Beast Gohan versus Ultra Instinct Goku, and the drawings from Toyotaro was phenomenal in that. We get Broly in his controlled Super Saiyan form, where he went berserk, legendary. I think it's just called full power Super Saiyan. And then we get Piccolo orange, and I think Goten and Trunks get in the action. It's just one big giant free for all. That definitely needs to see the light of day, and definitely needs to be animated, especially since it heads towards where they're going toward the end of Dragon Ball Z / the second half of the manga. But we don't know what's going on with Shueisha at this point, and when Toyotaro was coming back to actually write the Dragon Ball manga. He is involved, I think, on another one. Yeah, he's got a recent one shot that he's doing for the manga. It deals with something like the like some sort of, I think, Dragon Ball toys or something that's coming out, figures and stuff like that. But as far as when he's coming back full time for the Dragon Ball manga, we're still waiting for that, even as of April 2nd, 2026. So there are definitely parts from the beginning and before and after the movie that need to be animated. I don't know how they'll handle that. From a narrative standpoint, I think Cell Max could be handled better, but what they're going to do with that narratively, we'll see. But I'll save, like I said, I'll save most of my comments for what we said in that Dragon Ball superhero review. But overall, yeah, this is something that doesn't need to get touched, because let's face it, like I said, once you get to the Goku Black art, and especially the Tournament Power arc, the animation standards clearly took a rise up in the right direction, and Dragon Ball Super Broly with Shintani's work on that completely redefined, I think, the animation standard for Dragon Ball Super. And we've seen that with Battle of Gods, no, not Battle of Gods, we've seen that with Superhero as well, and going into especially Dragon Ball Daimao. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention here, for Dragon Ball Super Beerus, something that I would love to see, and I think they might as well do it since it is part of Toriyama's work. They probably want to stay close to the vision. I wouldn't mind seeing Goku go Super Saiyan 4, the version in Daima, and see it get bodied by Beerus, just to link all that together. And I wouldn't mind an explanation of Vegeta in there saying that maybe him trying to go SS3, and maybe he goes SS3 in the battle with Beerus. Maybe they add that, new scenes. That would be cool to see. Or he says he doesn't want to go Super Saiyan 3. I don't want to go that Super Saiyan 3 because it uses too much energy. It uses way too much energy. I'll just use Super Saiyan 2. Like, you know, just some explanations, but I think it'd be cool. I think, why not? You might as well. Yeah, obviously Battle of Gods didn't exist when Toriyama originally worked on it. And, well, I mean, Dragon Ball Daima didn't exist when he originally worked on Battle of Gods. But now that you're making this in a post-Daima world, and clearly they're still showing Dragon Ball Daima as part of Dragon Ball, you know, it's still celebrated as Dragon Ball lore, you might as well. It doesn't take much to tie it in. All you got to do is have Goku go SS4 and get easily defeated by Beerus. Have Vegeta go SS3, still easily get defeated by Beerus as well, and there you go. And if they want to in the enhanced version, they could bring up SS4 and SS3 more, or they don't do it again because they didn't see much of a reason to. So yeah, I don't think it would hurt anything. It's not gonna harm the story. It just helps tie in Daima much better to Battle of Gods. And if you're enhancing and remaking it anyways, why not? It's, you know, like I said, there's a lot of story where you want to, do you honor the original creator's intent? Do you not honor and go in a different direction? Well, this is a situation where the creator made both, so you might as well slap them together and just make it a lot more easier for the fans to have to understand. I know continuity might not be a big issue there in Japan like it is with, you know, American audiences or English, or the, you know, over here in the English speaking audiences, but I think it'd be cool to see, and it wouldn't harm anything, because at the end of the day, Goku and Vegeta getting bodied at SS4 and SS3 doesn't harm the story moving forward. They end up relying on the god forms anyway because they're more powerful. So simple as that. I don't see an issue with that at all. I also wanted to add on, where is it? Yeah, I also want to add on with the Tournament of Power, the idea of using AI and the enhanced CGI, because one of the things with the Tournament of Power that I thought when I heard it was like, whoa, how are they going to animate this? You're going to have all these characters fighting. See, I was thinking of what they did. If you guys follow the Endgame, Avengers Endgame, there's a cool pan shot when all the battle breaks out on the battlefield. The camera's just panning across the battlefield, and you're seeing everyone fight, all chaos all over the place, and they're doing their signature attacks and all that stuff. That was really cool, and that's what I kind of envisioned the battle of the Tournament of Power being. But really what it was is and I get it, you in 2D animation wise, that would have been way too much to draw out, way too much to draw. But at the end of the day, they ended up using like dark backgrounds to simulate there's people moving in the background. They really focused a lot on the what was that called? They focused a lot on the ambient noise, so you could hear a lot of people. It sounded like thousands of people fighting in the background or hundreds of people fighting in the background, but when you zoom in, it kind of looked like they were just picking and choosing their places. You had like 2 or 3 or 4 characters that were fighting each other, and you just see them. You don't see them. You see the background of the arena, but you don't see the people fighting in the background. Well, with today's AI technology and the CGI, which is why I think in Dragon Ball Superhero, one of my favorite scenes is when Gohan, you guys already saw how crazy I went over it during when I noticed it in Dragon Ball Super when I did the Sparking Zero live stream. I like when Gohan came crashing down and you see all the soldiers right there ready to fight, and he starts going through and beating them up. See, stuff like that would be very time consuming in 2D animation wise, but when you have CGI involved, it's a lot easier. And then you add in the new improvements that's been done with AI, even better, because remember, this movie came out in 2022, and even though it's only been 4 years as of 2026, there has been so much modern day advancement in AI that it's crazy now what it can do. And I think I would be all for seeing AI and CGI combined, of course, with the human element. I would love to see that brought upon I would love to see that brought upon in the story, basically, where they can maybe animate several fights going on in the background and we see it. I think that would be fantastic. Why not? And so I do get hyped up for the possibilities from a visual standpoint where maybe the Tournament of Power can do some cool shots. I would love to see a panning shot like we saw in Endgame, where we just see Goku and Frieza and all these characters battling out over once, and you could even see Jiren in the background just sitting there. Like, I think that would be phenomenal. So yeah, I will say the modern day technology does open some nice possibilities that we weren't able to get to see in the Tournament of Power and stuff. So I think that would be really awesome to see. And so let's see if you got anything going on in the chats. Yeah, I appreciate especially Yanyo, and thanks again for coming, Ubu. Is it I think I said it right. Ubu? No, Uba. 3. Okay. But yeah, thanks you, especially Yanyo, for keeping the engagement in the chat and stuff. Overall, let's see how the stats did when it came to today. So for the vertical chat, 158 views and all that stuff and everything. And then for the horizontal, 43 views. So yeah, I thank you for everyone who did tune in and stuff. And hopefully this was a big increase for watch hour. I'm so glad to be back to doing the Dragon Ball Sparking. I'm so glad. Well, overall, I'm just glad to be back to doing the live streams and everything. And so definitely, like I said, I'm gonna try and see if I can do some readings of the manga, analysts, and do some voice acting while reading it too as well. There's more content to come on by. And that being said, guys, I will be back on Easter and Akira Toriyama's birthday, the 5th, April 5th, to do a not a breakdown, but to do a live playthrough and reaction of Goku Black story in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So I've been holding that off for about 2 months. Hopefully because I haven't played it at all much in the last 2 months. So hopefully which is why I don't play online, because there's so much more people that are better than me on that one. So I'm so busy as a content creator. But yeah, hopefully my muscle memory kicks in when I'm playing in this. But yeah, for everyone who joined and for everybody who'll be watching this in the repurposed content for shorts and videos, thank you all so much. So as I was saying, until next time when I'm back, make sure to subscribe and hit notification bell so that way you are notified when my Goku Black story mode playthrough goes live on Sunday, April 5th. Until then, guys, take care.